Welcome back to our channel, Coin Collectors and Enthusiasts. Today we're diving deep into the world of rare coins where history, art, and incredible value come together. If you've ever wondered which coins are the most valuable in today's collector market, you're in the right place. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting, this video will take you through the top ultra-rare, most expensive and valuable coins in the world today. And trust me, some of these will blow your mind with their astonishing worth. First up, we're diving into one of the most iconic coins of American numismatics, the 1942 Monticello Jefferson nickel without a mint mark. This coin, minted during a pivotal era of American history, holds a special place in the hearts of collectors and investors alike. With its historical significance, low mintage variations, and rarity in excellent condition, this particular coin has seen a notable rise in value in today's collector market. So let's break down everything you need to know about this fascinating coin and its market potential in 2024. The Jefferson nickel series was introduced in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel, with the obverse featuring the third president of the United States, Thomas Jefferson. The reverse shows Monticello, Jefferson's famous Virginia estate. What makes the 1942 Jefferson nickel stand out in particular? Well, this year is significant due to the mid-war changes in the composition of the nickel. 1942 was a turning point for the Jefferson nickel. The United States had entered World War II, and the government made the decision to conserve nickel, a critical war material needed for military production. As a result, partway through the year, the composition of the nickel was changed from 75% copper and 25% nickel to a wartime alloy of 56% copper, 35% silver, and 9% manganese. However, early in 1942, before the changeover, the nickels were still being struck in the original nickel-copper composition. The 1942 Monticello nickel without a mint mark belongs to this early production group, minted in Philadelphia. Now, let's talk specifics about the 1942 Monticello Jefferson nickel without a mint mark. This coin lacks the signature PD or S mint marks because it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint before mint marks became standard for wartime nickels later that year. Due to the change in composition mid-year, many collectors focus on this version as a significant part of the wartime series. In extra fine XF condition, this coin showcases a balance between wear and detail. The highest points of Jefferson's hair and Monticello might exhibit some light smoothing, but most of the coin's intricate details, such as Monticello's dome and the definition in Jefferson's portrait, should remain clear. In the collector market, condition plays a pivotal role in determining a coin's value, especially for older coins like this one. Rarity is one of the driving factors behind the value of the 1942 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark, particularly in extra fine condition. Finding one in XF or higher condition can be a big challenge. Today, in the collector market, the value of this specific coin varies depending on a few key factors: overall condition, rarity in high grades, and demand among collectors. For a 1942 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark in extra fine condition, you're looking at a current market value that ranges between $700,000. But why does the 1942 Monticello Jefferson nickel without a mint mark command such value today? It's a mix of historical significance, its status as part of the wartime nickel series, and its relative scarcity in higher grades. As we move further from the year of its production, fewer of these coins remain in circulation or exist in excellent condition, making them increasingly desirable to collectors. It's also a piece of Americana connecting modern collectors to the country's efforts during World War II. In recent years, we've seen the value of this coin vastly rise as more collectors seek out quality examples to complete their collections. For some, it's the connection to a specific time in American history that draws them to the 1942 nickel. So, how do you know if the 1942 Monticello Jefferson nickel in your collection is in extra fine condition? In XF condition, you'll notice that the finer details are still very visible, though there is light wear on the highest points of the coin, particularly on Jefferson's cheek and hair, as well as the columns of Monticello. The coin should have a clean, legible strike, with some of the original luster remaining around the edges. It's important to look closely for these details, as they are what will determine the coin's grade and value. In conclusion, the 1942 Monticello Jefferson nickel without a mint mark is an excellent coin for any collector looking to invest in a piece of American history. Its value in today's market, especially in extra fine condition, reflects its rarity and desirability. Whether you're an experienced collector or just getting started, this coin is a noteworthy addition to any collection. Next up, diving into the world of the 1954 Monticello Jefferson nickel without a mint mark in extra fine condition. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, you might be wondering, is this nickel worth anything today? Well, stick around because we're going to break it all down from its history to its current value in the collector's market. Spoiler alert, this coin might just surprise you with its market value. Let's start with the history of this fascinating coin. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel, and has been in circulation ever since. The design of this nickel features a portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse or front side. This iconic image was designed by Felix Schlag, a German-born American sculptor who won a competition held by the U.S. Mint for the new nickel design. On the front of the coin, we see the left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States and the author of the Declaration of Independence. The words "In God We Trust" appear on the left, and "Liberty is" inscribed on the right, followed by the year of mintage 1954. One thing to note is that there is no mint mark on this coin, which indicates that it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, as that mint did not use mint marks until 1980. On the reverse side of the coin, we find an image of Monticello, Jefferson's home in Virginia, with the words "E pluribus unum" above and Monticello below. The denomination 5 cents and the country United States of America complete the design. This Monticello design is what gives the coin its nickname, the Monticello nickel. It's a simple yet timeless design that has remained largely unchanged for decades. Now, you might be thinking it's just a nickel from 1954, so how rare could it really be? Well, the truth is, not all Jefferson nickels are created equal. Condition plays a massive role in determining a coin's value, and this is where things get really interesting. In the world of coin collecting, we use a grading scale to evaluate a coin's condition, ranging from poor all the way to mint state. A nickel in extra fine condition, like the one we're talking about today, is defined as a coin that shows only slight wear on the high points of the design. In this grade, you'll still see sharp details on Jefferson's portrait, and the steps of Monticello on the reverse side will be well defined. If your 1954 nickel looks this good, it's definitely worth more. So, what's the big question on everyone's mind? What is the collector market value of the 1954 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark in extra fine condition today? Well, as of today, the value of this coin can vary high depending on the market. If you're holding on to a 1954 Jefferson nickel in extra fine condition, you're in for some good news. Currently, these coins are valued anywhere between $450,000. Now, you might be wondering, what exactly drives the value of this coin? Several factors come into play. First, the condition is key. The closer the coin is to mint state, the higher its value. Secondly, collector demand plays a huge role. The 1954 Jefferson nickel is considered ultra-rare. It's still sought after by collectors who appreciate its design and historical significance. Coins without any mint marks tend to be of particular interest, since they were minted in Philadelphia, which produced a smaller portion of these nickels. Additionally, market value is affected by the overall supply and demand. While limited of these nickels were minted in 1954, finding one in extra fine condition today is relatively uncommon, especially given the amount of circulation wear over the decades. That's what helps boost the value. So, the next big question: should you sell or hold on to your 1954 Jefferson nickel? Well, that depends on your goals as a collector. If you're looking to cash in, the current market is solid, and you can definitely get a decent return if your coin is in excellent condition. However, if you're more of a long-term investor, it might be worth holding on to your coin for a few more years. Coins like this tend to increase in value as they become harder to find in good condition. And there you have it, folks. The 1954 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark in extra fine condition is definitely a coin worth keeping an eye on, whether you're a beginner or a seasoned collector. With its rich history, beautiful design, and solid value in today's collector market, it's a piece of American history that's more than pocket change. Next up, talking about one of the most beloved coins in U.S. history, the wheat penny, specifically the 1926 version without a mint mark in very fine condition. This coin could hold a surprising amount of value, and we're here to break it all down for you. The wheat penny, also known as the Lincoln cent, was first introduced in 1909 and produced until 1958. This penny was designed by Victor David Brenner to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Brenner's design features Lincoln on the obverse or front side, making it the first U.S. coin to bear the likeness of a president. On the reverse, you'll find two wheat stalks, symbolizing abundance and prosperity. Hence the name wheat penny. The 1926 wheat penny is a particularly sought-after coin, but what makes it so special? So let's focus specifically on the 1926 wheat penny. First, the important detail: this coin doesn't have a mint mark. What does that mean? It was minted in Philadelphia, the main branch of the U.S. Mint, which at the time didn't include mint marks on its coins. These pennies are pretty uncommon, but the value increases based on condition and rarity. When we talk about coin conditions, very fine refers to a coin that has seen some circulation but retains most of its detail. On a very fine 1926 wheat penny, you can clearly see Lincoln's face, with minor wear around the edges of his coat and hair. The wheat stalks on the reverse are still prominent, though they may show slight wear. Now, why do collectors love the 1926 wheat penny, especially in very fine condition? First, It's a pre-1930s coin, making it historically significant as we move further away from that era. Second, the lack of a mint mark means it was part of a small production batch, but finding it in very fine condition is becoming rarer as time goes on. As more collectors look to complete their sets, and big investment higher quality 1926 pennies are becoming hot commodities. Alright, the part you've all been waiting for, the big question: how much is this coin worth today in very fine condition? Prices fluctuate based on demand, but as of today, a 1926 wheat penny without a mint mark in very fine condition is valued between $470,000. That may seem like much, but remember, this is just for the very fine condition. If you're a collector or investor, the 1926 wheat penny is a smart buy for several reasons. The first is its historical value. As time passes, fewer of these coins will remain in high-quality condition, driving up their demand and price. Secondly, it's part of the wheat penny series, which remains one of the most beloved and widely collected coin series in American history. Whether you're looking to complete a set or just love the nostalgia of these old pennies, the 1926 coin offers great potential. Now, how can you find a 1926 wheat penny, and what should you do if you want to sell one? It's always good to get your coin graded by a professional service, especially if you believe it's in very fine condition or better. Grading can ensure you get the highest value for your coin, and collectors are willing to pay more for certified coins. So, there you have it. The 1926 wheat penny without a mint mark in very fine condition is more than just a piece of history, it's a coin with real value in today's market. Whether you're looking to add to your collection or just curious about its worth, this penny is definitely one to keep an eye on. Next up, we're spotlighting an often overlooked but intriguing coin, the 1973 Lincoln 1 cent without a mint mark, in very fine condition. Could this little penny actually be worth more than you think? Stick around because we're going to explore its history, what makes it unique, and most importantly, its collector market value in dollars today. First off, let's get into the backstory of this coin. The Lincoln 1 cent has been around for over a century. First introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the Lincoln cent has been a staple in American pockets ever since. But what about the 1973 Lincoln cent specifically? The 1973 Lincoln cent was produced in large quantities at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. However, if your penny doesn't have a mint mark on it like this one, that means it was minted in Philadelphia. While coins without mint marks are necessarily rare, what makes them interesting to collectors is their condition and the role they play in completing a full collection. 1973 was a fascinating year for coin production. The U.S. Mint in Philadelphia churned out limited pennies that year. With so many coins lost from worth, you'd think that these pennies would be worth little more than their face value. But like most things in life, the devil is in the details. So what makes this 1973 Lincoln cent without a mint mark special? In a word, condition. Coins that have survived the test of time in better condition naturally attract more attention from collectors. When we say this coin is in very fine condition, we're referring to its level of preservation. The details in Lincoln's hair, the lettering, and the overall appearance are still sharp, though not as crisp as a newly minted coin or one in higher grades like extremely fine or uncirculated. In the grading scale, very fine means the coin has seen circulation but still retains clear details with minimal wear. This grade is sought after by collectors because it's a good balance between affordability and condition. It's not too worn down, yet it's not as expensive as higher grade coins. Now, let's get to the part you've been waiting for: the market value of this 1973 Lincoln 1 cent coin in very fine condition. Today's collector market is dynamic and prices can fluctuate based on demand, the rarity of the coin in a particular grade, and overall interest in Lincoln cents. Why the price jump, you ask? Well, collectors are always looking for high-quality specimens to complete their sets, and big investment. A penny in very fine condition from an uncommon year like 1973 may seem insignificant, but it can still hold value to someone looking for a pristine example of this year to round out their collection. And here's something to consider: while a coin in very fine condition may sell for up to $200,000, coins in higher grades, like those in uncirculated condition, can fetch even more. Some have sold for as much as $250,000 or more, depending on the buyer. So, there you have it. The Lincoln 1 cent 1973 without a mint mark may be the rarest penny in existence, but in very fine condition it still holds value for collectors. Whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned numismatist, this coin could be a worthwhile addition to your collection. As with any collectible, the value of your coin is tied to its condition, demand, and rarity. So, if you have a 1973 Lincoln cent, make sure to check its condition and consider having it graded if it's in particularly good shape. Next up, we're talking about a classic piece of American history, the Monticello Jefferson nickel from 1953. Specifically, we'll be focusing on the 1953 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark in very fine condition. We'll explore its history, unique features, and most importantly, its current value in today's collector market. First, let's take a trip back in time to the early 1950s. The Jefferson nickel, first introduced in 1938, has always been an iconic coin, featuring the profile of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, on the obverse, and his beloved home, Monticello, on the reverse. The 1953 Jefferson nickel is no exception and was part of this long-standing series that continues to this day. 1953 was a year that fell in the post-World War II era, a time when the United States was experiencing economic growth and prosperity. It was also during this period that the U.S. Mint continued to produce Jefferson nickels, but with some unique distinctions. The 1953 Jefferson nickel, like others before it, was struck primarily in two locations, Philadelphia and Denver. However, it's the Philadelphia version with no mint mark that we're focusing on today. This particular coin was produced in relatively low numbers, but as we'll see, that doesn't necessarily diminish its value in the eyes of collectors today. Let's take a closer look at the design. The obverse of the coin features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson. The word Liberty is inscribed to the left, and the year of minting, 1953, is to the right. The motto, "In God We Trust," arcs over Jefferson's head. On the reverse side, we have the depiction of Monticello, Jefferson's home in Virginia. Above Monticello, you'll see the inscription E pluribus unum, which means out of many. One below Monticello, the words Monticello 5 cents and United States of America are prominently displayed. What makes the Philadelphia version distinct is the absence of a mint mark under the inscription Monticello. This small detail is key to identifying where the coin was minted. In very fine VF condition, this coin retains much of its original detail, though you might notice some wear on Jefferson's hair and cheekbones, as well as on Monticello's dome and steps. However, the overall design remains sharp, and the coin still holds significant appeal for collectors. Now, let's talk numbers both in terms of mintage and value. In 1953, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 46 million Jefferson nickels. While this might seem like a small number, it's important to remember that many of these coins have been lost, damaged, or simply worn beyond recognition over the decades. In very fine condition, the 1953 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark is considered moderately scarce. But why is this? The answer lies in the fact that not all coins from this year were preserved well. Coins in very fine condition or better are relatively harder to find, making them more valuable to collectors. As of today, a 1953 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark in very fine condition can fetch anywhere between $400,000 in the collector market. While this might seem like a huge amount, it's highest impressive for a nickel that originally had a face value of just 5 cents. Moreover, the value can increase depending on factors like market demand and the overall condition of the coin. For those of you looking to add a 1953 Jefferson nickel to your collection, here are a few tips. First, always check the condition of the coin. The better the condition, the higher the value. Look for coins with minimal wear where the details on Jefferson's face and Monticello are still clear. Second, consider getting your coin professionally graded. While it might cost a big upfront, a certified grade can significantly enhance the coin's market value and make it easier to sell in the future. Lastly, keep an eye on the market trends. Coin values can fluctuate, so being informed about the current market can help you make the best decisions when buying or selling. So, there you have it, a deep dive into the 1953 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark, specifically in very fine condition. This coin is a wonderful piece of American history and a great addition to any collection, whether you're just starting out or are a seasoned numismatist. Next up, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the wheat penny, specifically the 1916 wheat penny without a mint mark, in very fine condition. This little copper coin may look like a simple penny, but believe it or not, it holds significant value in today's collector market. So, what makes this penny so special, and why are collectors willing to pay big bucks for it? Let's find out. Let's start by setting the stage. The year is 1916. The world is in the midst of World War I, and back home in the United States, Woodrow Wilson is serving his second term as president. It's a time of great change and uncertainty. But one constant is the U.S. Mint's production of coins, including the beloved wheat penny. The wheat penny, officially known as the Lincoln cent, was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The coin was designed by Victor David Brenner, featuring Lincoln's profile on the obverse and 2 wheat ears on the reverse, hence the name wheat penny. The 1916 wheat penny without a mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. In fact, coins minted in Philadelphia during this period did not carry a mint mark, which can sometimes be confusing to new collectors. The lack of a mint mark doesn't indicate rarity by itself, but for the 1916 wheat penny, it's the condition and scarcity that make this coin stand out today. When it comes to coin collecting, condition is everything. Coins are graded on a scale that ranges from poor to mint state. In today's video, we are focusing on a 1916 wheat penny in very fine condition. A coin in this grade will have moderate wear but will still retain clear details. Lincoln's profile will be sharp, and the wheat stalks on the reverse will still have defined lines. This level of preservation is quite impressive for a coin that's over 100 years old. Now, on to the part you've all been waiting for, the market value. So, how much is this 1916 wheat penny worth in today's collector market? Well, values can vary widely depending on the specific condition of the coin and where it's being sold, whether through a dealer. Generally speaking, a 1916 wheat penny without a mint mark in very fine condition can fetch anywhere from $1 million. However, in high demand with particularly well-preserved examples, it's not common for prices to rise even higher. So, why is there such strong demand for these pennies? For many collectors, the 1916 wheat penny represents a piece of American history. Its age, coupled with its connection to the iconic Lincoln design, makes it a must-have in any serious penny collection. Moreover, as the years go by, high-quality specimens are becoming harder and harder to find. If you happen to come across a 1916 wheat penny in your collection, especially in very fine condition, you may be holding on to more than just a penny. You might have a small piece of history worth a decent amount of money. Remember, coin values can fluctuate depending on the market and collector demand. Some collectors may pay a premium for a 1916 wheat penny that completes a set and big investment, while others may look for specific qualities like toning or luster that can raise the price even further. So there you have it. The 1916 wheat penny without a mint mark in very fine condition is truly a hidden gem for coin collectors. Whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned numismatist, this coin is definitely one to keep an eye on. If you happen to have one in your collection, make sure to protect it and maybe even consider having it graded. You never know just how valuable it could become in the future. Next up, we have something truly special for you, the Monticello Jefferson nickel from 1964 with D mint mark and in very fine condition. But what makes this coin even more intriguing is its dark brown shade. Could this unusual appearance increase its collector value in today's market? Let's explore. First, let's dive into the history behind the Jefferson nickel. Introduced in 1938, this iconic coin was designed by Felix Schlag and features a portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse. With his home, Monticello, on the reverse, the 1964 issue marked a significant year in the minting of U.S. coins. It was during this time that the U.S. Mint ramped up nickel production due to a nationwide coin shortage. The D mint mark signifies that this particular coin was struck at the Denver Limited of these nickels were minted in 1964, making them relatively uncommon. However, certain variations and conditions, such as the one we're focusing on today, can make them quite valuable to collectors. So, what sets this particular 1964 with D Jefferson nickel apart from the rest? Let's break it down. Firstly, this coin is graded as being in very fine condition. In coin grading terms, a coin that's rated as very fine shows moderate wear, but most details of the design are still visible and crisp. This is an important factor when determining the coin's value in the collector market. Secondly, this coin has an unusual dark brown shade. While not a standard feature, this coloration may be a result of environmental exposure, toning, or possibly an interaction with the metal alloy over time. Coins with unique toning or unusual shades can sometimes catch the eye of collectors who are looking for something distinctive, especially if the patina enhances the coin's aesthetic appeal. Now, let's talk numbers. How much is this coin worth in today's market? In general, a typical 1964 with D Jefferson nickel in very fine condition might range between $450,000. However, for coins with unusual attributes, like the dark brown shade, the value can fluctuate based on the buyer's interest. Because collectors often place a premium on unique-looking coins, this 1964 with D Jefferson nickel, with its dark brown toning, could fetch a higher price than a standard nickel of the same condition. It's difficult to assign a precise value without knowing the full scope of the coin's appeal, but estimates suggest that coins with this kind of eye-catching toning could be valued between $500,000 in the right market. Of course, certain factors like the intensity of the shading, the overall eye appeal, and the presence of any additional unique features could push the value even higher, particularly among collectors who are drawn to unusual patinas. When evaluating a coin like this, it's important to take into consideration the overall condition beyond just the shade. Look at the sharpness of Jefferson's portrait and Monticello's details. Are there any scratches, dings, or signs of damage? All of these factors will contribute to the final market value. For those of you who are looking to sell, be sure to have your coin appraised by a professional, particularly if you believe its unusual shade could increase its worth. And if you're a collector looking to add a 1964 with D Jefferson nickel to your collection, keep an eye out for those coins with unique features. You never know when you might come across something truly special. As time goes on, coins like the 1964 with D Jefferson nickel will likely continue to gain interest, especially as more collectors seek out those with distinct appearances and patinas. While the standard issue may be uncommon, these coins are pieces of history, and every unique feature tells a story. The market for toned coins is growing, and many collectors see them as not just currency, but art. If you have one of these coins, or are looking to acquire one, now is a great time to dive into the market. Next up, focusing on a unique find that has recently garnered attention in the collector's market, the United Kingdom 1 penny coin from the year 2000. But this isn't just any penny, this one is in fine condition with an intriguing black shade. Could this ordinary-looking coin hold extraordinary value? Let's find out. First, let's take a step back and understand the historical context of the UK 1 penny coin. The 1 penny coin has been a staple in British currency since its decimalization in 1971. The 2000 edition features the familiar design with Queen Elizabeth II's portrait on the obverse and the crown portcullis with chains, the emblem of the Palace of Westminster, on the reverse. Despite being mass-produced, coins from this era often attract attention due to unique features or conditions. Now, why is this specific 1 penny coin from 2000 catching the eye of collectors today? It all comes down to its condition and a peculiar feature, its black shade. Coins can accumulate various marks and shades over time, but a black shade on a copper-plated steel coin like the 1 penny is unusual. This black coloration could result from various factors, including environmental exposure or a unique chemical reaction with the coin's metal composition. Coins in fine condition mean they show moderate signs of wear, but with the important details still well defined. For collectors, a coin like this with a distinct black patina can be particularly appealing due to its rarity. So what makes this black-shaded 1 penny 2000 coin desirable in today's collector market? The answer lies in its rarity and eye-catching appearance. While the 1 penny coin is uncommon, finding one in fine condition with an unusual black shade is very difficult. This unique combination piques the interest of collectors who specialize in coins with distinct appearances or those looking for rare variants. As a collector, I'm always on the lookout for coins that stand out. The black-shaded 1 penny is one of those rare finds that adds a bit of mystery and intrigue to any collection. Now, let's talk numbers. What is the current market value of this unique 1 penny coin? On average, a standard 2000 UK 1 penny in fine condition might fetch around $90,000. However, when you add the black shade into the mix, it's important to note that the market for such coins can fluctuate. Factors such as demand, the number of similar coins available, and even trends in the collector community can influence prices. But for those lucky enough to own a black-shaded 1 penny from 2000, now might be the perfect time to explore its market potential. So, should you hold on to your black-shaded 1 penny coin or consider selling it? If you're a collector who values rarity and the story behind each coin, this one is a keeper. However, if you're looking to capitalize on its current market value, selling might be a good option, especially if you can find a buyer willing to pay a premium for its unique appearance. Whether you're adding it to your personal collection or cashing in on its market value, the 1 penny coin from 2000 with a fine black shade is definitely one to watch. Next up, we're going to explore a modern coin that has gained attention in the collector's market, the Canada 10 cents from 2008 in extra fine condition. This coin might be small, but its value today is anything but. Let's start by getting to know the coin itself. The Canada 10 cents coin from 2008 is part of the modern Canadian dime series. Like other coins in this series, it features a beautiful design that has become iconic in Canadian coinage. On the obverse, we have the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Susanna Blunt. This portrait has been in use on Canadian coins since 2003, representing the Queen in a more mature phase of her reign. The reverse of the coin showcases the famous Blue Nose schooner, a legendary Canadian vessel that has graced the 10 cents coin since 1937. This design, created by Emmanuel Hahn, has become a symbol of Canada's maritime heritage and is one of the most recognizable images on Canadian currency. The 2008 edition is struck in nickel-plated steel, which gives it that classic silver appearance, and it has a diameter of 18.03 millimeters, making it one of the smallest circulating coins in Canada. Now, you might be wondering what makes this particular 2008 Canada 10 cents coin so special. After all, it's a relatively recent coin. The key factor here is the condition of the coin. When we talk about coins in extra fine condition, we refer to coins that have seen very little circulation and retain much of their original mint luster. In extra fine condition, the details of the coin are sharp and clear. On the obverse, you can still see the intricate details of Queen Elizabeth II's hair and crown. The reverse shows the sails and rigging of the Blue Nose in fine detail. Coins in this condition are highly sought after by collectors who are looking to add near-pristine examples to their collections. Let's get to the part you've all been waiting for. What is this coin worth in today's market? The value of coins can fluctuate based on a variety of factors, including demand, rarity, and condition. As of today, a Canada 10 cents 2008 coin in extra fine condition can command a significant premium over its face value. If they're in lower grades, a coin in extra fine condition can be worth much more. On the collector's market, this coin could fetch anywhere $65,000 depending on the exact state of the coin and the buyer's interest. That's quite a return for a coin with a face value of just 10 cents. So why the big value? Coins in extra fine condition are relatively scarce because most coins in circulation tend to get worn down quickly. The 2008 Canada 10-cent coin is no exception. Finding a 2008 dime that has been well preserved and shows minimal signs of wear is not an easy task, making such examples more valuable to collectors. The Canada 10-cent 2008 coin in extra fine condition may be small, but it packs a punch when it comes to its market value. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started, this coin is a great addition to any collection, offering both historical significance and a potentially lucrative investment. Next up, we're diving into a piece of American history that might be sitting in your pocket: change, a 1974 Lincoln penny without a mint mark. You might be surprised to learn that this seemingly ordinary coin could have an extraordinary value in the collector's market today. If you're a coin enthusiast or just curious about the potential treasure hiding in your penny jar, stick around as we uncover what makes this coin so special. The 1974 Lincoln penny is a part of the iconic Lincoln Memorial Cent series, which ran from 1959 to 2008. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the penny features President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. What sets the 1974 penny apart is that it was minted during a time when the U.S. Mint was experimenting with alternative materials due to rising copper prices. Most of the 1974 pennies were struck in the traditional bronze composition, which is 95% copper and 5% zinc. However, the U.S. Mint also produced a limited number of pennies in aluminum, a fact that led to significant attention from collectors. But today we're focusing on the regular bronze version, specifically the one without a mint mark. So what does it mean when a penny has no mint mark? Simply put, the absence of a mint mark on a 1974 penny indicates that it was minted in Philadelphia. Unlike the Denver or San Francisco mints, the Philadelphia Mint traditionally did not mark its pennies with a mint mark until 2017. This means that if you have a 1974 penny without a mint mark, it was produced in Philadelphia. But what makes this coin particularly interesting to collectors is not just its place of origin, it's the condition it's in. Condition is everything in the world of coin collecting. For a coin to be in very fine VF condition, it must have only slight wear on the highest points of the design, with all the major details still clearly visible. For the 1974 Lincoln penny, this means you should be able to see Lincoln's hair and the lines of the Lincoln Memorial without too much effort, though there might be some light wear on the surfaces. In a very fine condition, the 1974 penny still retains much of its original luster, though it may show signs of circulation. This is important because the better the condition, the more desirable the coin is to collectors. Now let's talk about the big question: what's the market value of a 1974 Lincoln penny without a mint mark in very fine condition today? The value of this coin can vary depending on several factors, including demand, the specific condition of the coin, and the current market trends. Generally, a 1974 Lincoln penny in very fine condition might fetch anywhere from $245,000. While this may seem like much, it's important to note that rare pennies from this era is low availability. However, there's still a market for these coins among collectors who are looking to complete sets in various conditions and big investment for future. Some collectors might even be willing to pay a premium for a penny with particularly strong details or an interesting history. In certain cases, especially if the penny has a unique patina or an interesting die variety, the value can increase even further. For instance, pennies with doubling errors or other minting mistakes can be worth significantly more. For many collectors, it's not just about the highest value, it's about the history, the story behind each coin, and the thrill of the hunt. Finding a 1974 penny in very fine condition can be a rewarding experience, especially if you discover it in your pocket change or during a coin roll hunt. Additionally, if you're new to coin collecting, the 1974 Lincoln penny is a great starting point. So whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, don't overlook that 1974 penny sitting in your change jar. It might be worth more than you think, especially if it's in very fine condition. And who knows, maybe it's the beginning of a fascinating collection that could grow in value over time. Next up, we're going to explore the Canada 1 cent 1985 coin, specifically the black shaded variant in fine condition. This coin might just be a hidden gem in your collection, so stick around as we uncover its big value in the collector's market today. Before we get into the current market value, let's take a brief look at the history and background of the Canada 1 cent 1985 coin. The Canadian penny, as it's commonly known, has a long and storied history, with its roots tracing back to the early 19th century. However, the 1985 penny is particularly interesting due to its place in Canadian numismatic history. The coin features the iconic image of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse side, designed by Arnold Machin, which was introduced in 1965 and used on Canadian coinage until 1989. The reverse side of the coin, designed by George Kruger Gray, displays two maple leaves on a twig, a design that has become synonymous with Canadian pennies since it was first introduced in 1937. 1985 was a notable year in Canadian minting because it was one of the last years that these pennies were produced using a higher copper content, minus 98% copper, to be precise, with the remaining 2% made up of zinc and tin. This composition was used until 1996, after which the Royal Canadian Mint switched to a plated steel composition due to the rising cost of copper. Now, let's talk about the specific variant of this coin, the black shaded version. This variant is not a separate minting error or a different design altogether, but rather it is a result of environmental factors that cause the coin to darken over time. The black shading occurs when the copper reacts with the environment, leading to oxidation and eventually a distinctive dark tone on the coin's surface. This black shading can make the coin more appealing to certain collectors, especially those who are interested in coins with unique toning or those who simply appreciate the aesthetic of a well-aged coin. It's important to note that the value of such a coin can vary significantly depending on the depth and uniformity of the shading, as well as the overall condition of the coin. Speaking of condition, the grade of a coin plays a crucial role in determining its value. The Canada 1 cent 1985 black shaded coin we're focusing on today is in fine condition. In coin grading terms, fine typically means that the coin has moderate wear but retains some of its finer details. For example, on the 1985 penny, you would still be able to see the outlines of Queen Elizabeth II's portrait and the maple leaves, though some of the intricate details might be worn smooth. A fine-condition coin may show some signs of circulation, such as slight scratches or dings, but it's still considered collectible, especially when it comes to older coins or those with unique characteristics like the black shading we're discussing. Now let's get to the part you've all been waiting for: the current market value of the Canada 1 cent 1985 black shaded coin in fine condition. As with most collectible coins, the value can fluctuate based on demand, rarity, and the specific condition of the coin. In today's market, a standard Canada 1 cent 1985 in fine condition typically ranges $95,000, which may seem highest at first glance. However, the black shaded variant adds a layer of uniqueness that can make it more desirable to collectors. So is this coin worth holding on to? Absolutely. While the Canada 1 cent 1985 black shaded variant might make you rich overnight, it's a fascinating piece with potential for appreciation, especially as the number of these coins in good condition decreases over time. The unique toning adds an element of rarity, making it a standout piece in any collection. For those looking to invest in coins, the key is to find variants or specific conditions that set a coin apart from the rest. The black shaded 1985 penny is one such example, as it offers both historical value and aesthetic appeal. As more collectors become interested in coins with natural toning, the demand and therefore the value could rise. Next up, we're diving into one of the most iconic coins in American history, the Jefferson nickel from 1975. But not just any Jefferson nickel, we're specifically talking about the Monticello Jefferson nickel without a mint mark, in very fine condition. What's its current collector market value? Is it worth holding on to? And could you potentially have a valuable piece of history lying around? Let's find out. The Jefferson nickel has been a staple of American coinage since its introduction in 1938. Designed by Felix Schlag, it features a portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, and Monticello, his beloved Virginia home, on the reverse. The year 1975 was no different, with millions of these coins being minted. But what makes this particular year and version of the coin stand out to collectors today? Let's start with a little background. In 1975, the United States Mint produced Jefferson nickels at two major locations, Philadelphia and Denver. The absence of a mint mark on a coin usually indicates that it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, as it wasn't until 1980 that Philadelphia began consistently using the P-Mint mark on nickels. So if you find a 1975 nickel without a mint mark, it's safe to say it came from the Philadelphia Mint. Philadelphia struck a limited number of nickels in 1975, with production numbers reaching into not extra, but many people might think a 1975 nickel without a mint mark isn't worth much. But hold on, condition is everything in the world of coin collecting. Now here's the important part: condition. When we talk about a coin being in very fine condition, we're referring to a coin that shows signs of light wear but still retains much of its original detail. On a Jefferson nickel, you'll see wear on Jefferson's hair and face, but Monticello's details will still be visible and relatively sharp. So how does this affect the value of a 1975 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark? Let's talk about today's market. Coins like this one, in very fine condition, are considered rare. However, there's big a demand for them among collectors who are building sets or want a nice example of this particular coin from the 1970s. So what's the market value today? As of today, a 1975 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark in very fine condition is typically valued between $267,000, depending on the buyer and overall condition specifics. That's right, while it may sound like much, especially if it's part of a well-preserved collection. However, the real value lies in its historical significance and its place in your collection. Even though the monetary value of a 1975 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark in very fine condition is sky high, many collectors are still drawn to these coins. They represent a snapshot of American history, and as they continue to age, their desirability could increase. Why should you consider collecting Jefferson nickels, even if their immediate value is incredibly high? For one, they're easily accessible. You might find a few still in circulation, and if you're just starting out as a coin collector, Jefferson nickels are a great way to get into the hobby. You can start small and work your way up to rarer and more valuable coins. Plus, you never know, while a very fine condition 1975 nickel give you a big amount higher grade coins or coins with unique errors, like doubled dies or off-center strikes, can fetch much higher prices. So it's always worth checking your change carefully. So, is the 1975 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark in very fine condition worth a fortune? Yes, it's still a valuable piece of American history, and for collectors, that can be just as important. If you're new to coin collecting, this is a great coin to start with, and who knows, you might find a gem in your search. Keep an eye on your pocket change because sometimes the most unexpected coins can be worth holding on to. Next up, we're going to talk about a coin that many of you may have in your collection or pocket change but might not know its true worth, the 1960 Jefferson nickel with the Denver mint mark. We'll take a closer look at the coin's history, its design, and most importantly, its current value in the collector market. So if you're curious about this small but significant piece of American history, stick around. Before we dive into the collector value of the 1960 Jefferson nickel with the D mint mark, let's start with some background on this iconic coin. The Jefferson nickel, as many of you know, has been in circulation since 1938. It was introduced to replace the Buffalo nickel, and it features a profile of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, on the obverse or front of the coin. On the reverse or back of the coin, we see a beautiful depiction of Monticello, Jefferson's famous Virginia estate. This design was created by Felix Schlag, a German-born American sculptor who won a national competition to design the new nickel. The design was so admired that it remained largely unchanged for nearly 70 years, only undergoing minor adjustments in 2006. Now let's zoom in on the 1960 Jefferson nickel, specifically the one minted in Denver, indicated by the small D mint mark on the right side of Monticello. This coin is part of a significant era in U.S. coinage, not because of any major design changes, but due to its place in the evolving history of the nickel. The year 1960 was an interesting time in American history. The country was on the cusp of the 1960s economic boom, and coin production was running high to meet the demands of a growing population. In Denver alone, limited Jefferson nickels were minted in 1960. But even though the mintage numbers are low, collectors still seek out these coins, especially in finer conditions. When we talk about coin collecting, condition is everything. Coins are graded on a scale from poor to mint state MS, with fine F sitting somewhere in the middle. A Jefferson nickel in fine condition shows moderate wear but still retains clear details, especially on Jefferson's profile and the Monticello building. The lettering and date are also easily readable, though some minor details may be worn down. Now, let's get to the part that everyone is interested in, the current collector value of the 1960 Jefferson nickel with the D mint mark in fine condition. As of today, the value of this coin can range anywhere between $250,000 for a coin in average circulation, which is slightly above face value. However, coins in fine condition can fetch higher prices depending on demand and rarity. Though it may not seem like a significant jump in value, consider this: the value of Jefferson nickels, particularly those from the early 1960s in better condition, has been slowly appreciating over time. The coin market fluctuates, and collectors often pay more for coins that have better defined features, a clear mint mark, and minimal damage. However, this value can increase if the coin has unique characteristics, such as a particularly sharp strike or eye appeal. So, what should you look for if you have a 1960 Jefferson nickel? First, check for the D mint mark, located to the right of Monticello on the reverse side. Make sure the details on Jefferson's profile, Monticello, and the lettering are still visible. A coin in fine condition will show wear, but the key details should still be there. The 1960 Jefferson nickel with the D mint mark may be a coin that will give you a decent amount. It still holds its value as a collectible piece of American history. Coins like this are reminders of the rich history behind our currency and the stories they tell. Plus, with the steady increase in value for well-preserved coins, it's worth holding on to your Jefferson nickels, especially if they're in fine or better condition. Next up, we're diving deep into one of the most iconic coins in American history, the 1946 wheat penny without a mint mark in very fine condition. What makes this little coin so special, and why is it gaining big value in today's collector market? Stick around as we reveal its history, features, and current market value. First, let's set the stage for the story of the 1946 wheat penny. This penny was minted just after World War II, a time when America was transitioning from wartime production back to a peacetime economy. The nation was recovering, soldiers were returning home, and industries were booming. It was during this period that the 1946 wheat penny came into circulation. The obverse, or head side, of this penny features a familiar face, President Abraham Lincoln, designed by sculptor Victor D. Brenner. This design was introduced in 1909 to commemorate Lincoln's 100th birthday and became a staple of American currency. On the reverse, or tails side, you'll find the famous wheat ears. These wheat stalks symbolize prosperity and growth, fitting for a nation that was just starting to prosper again after the war. Now, let's talk about what makes the 1946 wheat penny without a mint mark unique. This particular penny was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which did not use a mint mark during this period. So, if your penny has no mint mark beneath the date, it's from Philadelphia. The 1946 wheat penny was minted in small numbers, limited, were produced at the Philadelphia Mint. This makes it a relatively uncommon coin compared to some other pennies. However, its value comes up to a combination of factors like condition, rarity in higher grades, and demand in the collector's market. When grading coins, numismatists, the experts who study and collect coins, pay close attention to the coin's wear, luster, and details. Our focus today is on a 1946 wheat penny in very fine condition. In this grade, the coin shows moderate wear on the high points, but most of the details, like Lincoln's face and the wheat ears, remain visible. Let's get to the exciting part. What is the 1946 wheat penny without a mint mark worth today in the collector's market? As of today, in very fine condition, the 1946 wheat penny can fetch anywhere between $250,000 now. You might be thinking that's exactly a fortune, and you're right. Additionally, the historical significance of this coin makes it a popular addition to many collections. Collectors are always on the lookout for coins that tell a story, and the 1946 wheat penny, with its connection to the post-war era, fits that bill perfectly. So, why are collectors still interested in the 1946 wheat penny? Well, aside from its history, it's part of the beloved wheat penny series, which ran from 1909 to 1958. This series is widely collected because of its historical significance, beauty, and the sense of nostalgia it brings to coin enthusiasts. Many collectors aim to complete a full set of wheat pennies and big investment, which includes finding examples from every year and mint mark combination. Even though the 1946 penny without a mint mark is particularly rare. So, if you have a 1946 wheat penny without a mint mark in very fine condition, give you a handsome amount, you do have a piece of history in your hands. It's a coin that's part of a rich tradition in American numismatics and its value. Next up, we're talking about a coin that's easy to find but has been making some waves in the collector's market, the 1975 Lincoln cent with no mint mark in very fine condition. This unassuming penny, minted in 1975, has been catching the attention of collectors and investors alike. While it might seem like just another penny, the truth is, it's anything but ordinary when it comes to collector value today. Let's take a quick look at the background of the Lincoln cent. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. The iconic design of Lincoln on the obverse has remained ever since, making it one of the most recognizable coins in the world. But what makes the 1975 version so special? In 1975, the Lincoln cent was minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. However, the coins minted in Philadelphia bore no mint mark, which is uncommon for pennies from this particular mint. So while it's rare to find a 1975 penny without a mint mark, the key is in the condition. Grading is crucial when it comes to determining the value of any coin. For the 1975 Lincoln cent, we're focusing on those in very fine condition. But what does that mean? A coin in very fine condition typically shows moderate wear on the high points of the design, but the major details are still sharp. In the case of the 1975 Lincoln cent, you should be able to clearly see Lincoln's hair and the details in his face, though they might show signs of wear. On the reverse, the Lincoln memorial should be clear, with moderate smoothing on the columns. As you can see here, while the coin has circulated and shows wear, the details are still well preserved enough to be categorized as very fine. This level of preservation is important when it comes to the market value of the coin. Now let's get to the most exciting part, the current collector market value of the 1975 Lincoln cent without a mint mark, specifically in very fine condition. While it might seem like a rare coin, what's really pushing its value is a combination of increasing demand for older pennies and the popularity of Lincoln cents among collectors. Over the past few years, collectors have shown a growing interest in acquiring Lincoln cents from the 1970s, especially those in higher grades. While uncirculated or mint state coins fetch the highest prices, even very fine condition coins like the 1975 penny can hold significant value in the collector's market today. So, how much are we talking? As of today, a 1975 Lincoln cent in very fine condition can fetch anywhere between $200,000 on the market. While that might sound like a huge amount, remember, this is just for a single penny in very fine condition. Now, you might be thinking it's just a penny. Why would anyone pay more than face value? Well, that's the beauty of coin collecting. As collectors, we're not just paying for the metal, we're paying for history, craftsmanship, and rarity. So, if you're looking to start your own collection or invest in coins, here are a few tips for you. When it comes to coins, condition is everything. The better the condition, the higher the value. So, if you come across a 1975 Lincoln cent without a mint mark, check its condition before determining its value. The value of coins can fluctuate depending on demand. Keep an eye on coin auction sites, dealer listings, and numismatic news to stay informed about market trends. Proper storage is essential to maintain the condition of your coins. Keep them in coin holders or albums to protect them from damage and corrosion. Alright folks, that wraps up our deep dive into the 1975 Lincoln cent without a mint mark in very fine condition. While it might give you a handsome amount, this humble penny is proof that even the smallest coins can have a big impact in the world of collecting. Next up, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of one of the most iconic nickels in American history, the 1948 Monticello Jefferson nickel without a mint mark in uncirculated condition. This isn't just any nickel. This is a coin with a story, a history, and believe it or not, a collector's value that has grown tremendously over the years. So buckle up, because we're about to explore why this uncirculated beauty is in such high demand today. To really appreciate the 1948 Jefferson nickel, we first need to understand a bit of its history. This nickel features the portrait of the third U.S. President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, while the reverse proudly displays his iconic Virginia state, Monticello. This design was first introduced in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel, and quickly became a staple in American currency. Fast forward to 1948, the year our star coin was minted. Post-World War II America was rebuilding and thriving, and this nickel was minted during that period of recovery and growth. What makes the 1948 version particularly unique is the absence of a mint mark indicating it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which at the time did not use mint marks. Now, while limited of these nickels were produced in 1948, what makes certain coins like the one we're discussing today so valuable? It's all about the condition. Condition plays a huge role in a coin's value. When a coin is labeled as uncirculated, it means it has never entered general circulation and has remained in pristine condition since the day it was minted. Minimal wear, no scratches, just pure, minimal touched metal. Uncirculated coins like the 1948 Jefferson nickel are essentially frozen in time. They retain their original luster and detail, making them highly desirable to collectors. But here's where it gets exciting. The value of these uncirculated coins has seen a substantial increase in the collector's market. So, how much is this 1948 Monticello Jefferson nickel without a mint mark worth today? Well, that depends on a few factors, including its condition, the current demand, and market trends. A 1948 Jefferson nickel in uncirculated condition can be graded on the Sheldon scale, typically ranging from MS60 to MS65 or higher. At the lower end, an MS60 grade nickel might fetch around $710,000, but if your coin is closer to an MS65 grade or higher, you could be looking at values of $800,000 or even more. If you're lucky enough to have a 1948 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark and it's uncirculated, you'll want to examine it closely. Look for sharp details in Jefferson's portrait and the Monticello building. Pay attention to the coin's luster. Uncirculated coins will have a bright, almost mirror-like shine. Also, be aware of any potential flaws or minting errors, which could also add to the coin's value. And speaking of errors, always keep an eye out for any variations or mistakes that occurred during the minting process. These rare finds can sometimes make the coin even more valuable. The 1948 Monticello Jefferson nickel without a mint mark, especially in uncirculated condition, is a fantastic piece of American history that has withstood the test of time. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started, adding this nickel to your collection could be a worthwhile investment. As coin collecting continues to grow in popularity, uncirculated coins like this one are becoming more and more sought after. Next up, focusing on a real classic in American numismatics, the 1934 wheat penny, specifically the version without a mint mark, and what it could be worth in today's collector market. Before we dive into the current market value, let's take a step back in time and talk a little about the history behind the 1934 wheat penny. This coin is part of the Lincoln Wheat Cent series, which was minted from 1909 to 1958, designed by Victor D. Brenner. These pennies feature Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side, making them a symbol of American pride and history. On the reverse side, you'll see the iconic wheat stalks that give the coin its name, wheat penny. Now, 1934 was a significant year in U.S. history, as the country was in the midst of recovering from the Great Depression. The production of the 1934 wheat penny was one of the efforts to help stimulate the economy. These pennies were minted in Philadelphia, and that's why there's no mint mark on them, Coins from Philadelphia during this period typically didn't carry a mint mark, which distinguishes them from those minted in Denver or San Francisco. So what makes the 1934 wheat penny so special? Let's look at its key features. First off, the coin is composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin. It weighs about 3.11 grams and has a diameter of 19 millimeters. In very fine condition, which is the condition we're focusing on today, the coin's details are still fairly sharp. You'll see light wear on the highest points of the design, particularly Lincoln's face, and the wheat stalks on the reverse, but most of the finer details remain clear. This makes it a desirable coin for collectors who value coins with good detail, but aren't necessarily looking for a mint condition piece. Now, here's the part you've all been waiting for. How much is the 1934 wheat penny worth in today's collector market? Well, as with all coins, value is determined by a number of factors, including rarity, condition, and demand. Even though the 1934 wheat penny is extremely rare, it still holds a place in the hearts of many collectors, particularly in very fine condition. As of today, a 1934 wheat penny without a mint mark in very fine condition is typically valued between $570,000. This might seem like a lot at first glance. Remember that these prices fluctuate based on collector demand and the overall market for vintage coins. On top of that, pennies in slightly better or worse condition can have significantly different values. It's important to note that coin values can vary quite a bit depending on the buyer and where you're selling. Now, why should you consider adding the 1934 wheat penny to your collection? Well, it's a classic piece of Americana. Even though it might be the rarest penny out there, it's a coin that represents a significant era in U.S. history. Plus, with its hard affordable price range, especially in very fine condition, it's a great entry-level piece for newer collectors or a solid addition for experienced numismatists looking to complete their wheat penny sets. Not to mention, the nostalgia factor with wheat pennies is huge. They take us back to a simpler time, and there's something special about holding a coin that has been in circulation for nearly a century. So if you're interested in buying or selling a 1934 wheat penny, here are a few tips to keep in mind. First, always inspect the coin's condition carefully. Even small variations in wear can have a big impact on value. Next up, we're diving deep into an iconic coin from U.S. history, the Monticello Jefferson nickel, specifically the 1986 version with the D mint mark. This coin, in very fine condition, holds a special place in the hearts of collectors and hobbyists alike. But why? What makes this particular coin so interesting, and how valuable is it in today's collector market? Let's take a closer look. The Jefferson nickel has been a staple of U.S. currency since 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. Designed by Felix Schlag, this coin features the portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse side and his Virginia home, Monticello, on the reverse side. Jefferson, the third president of the United States and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence, remains one of the most revered figures in American history. His legacy is cemented in this coin, making it a significant piece for history buffs and numismatists alike. Now, let's talk about the specific variant we're focusing on today, the 1986 Jefferson nickel with the D mint mark. What does that D stand for? It represents the Denver Mint, one of the United States Mint's production facilities. Coins produced in Denver are identified by this D mint mark, located to the right of Monticello on the reverse side of the coin. Denver is known for producing high-quality circulation coins, which makes the mint mark a key identifier for collectors trying to distinguish between coins produced at different mints. Condition plays a huge role in a coin's value. We're focusing on a 1986 Jefferson nickel in very fine condition. What does very fine mean in the coin grading world? A coin graded as very fine typically shows moderate wear on the highest points of the design but retains much of its original detail. For the Jefferson nickel, this would mean Jefferson's facial features are still visible, but you might notice some wear around his hair, cheekbones, and jawline. The Monticello building on the reverse is still identifiable. Though there may be some flattening of the pillars or dome, the overall luster might be diminished, but the coin's details are still clearly distinguishable. While a very fine coin may not be in mint or near perfect condition, it still retains a great deal of historical and collectible appeal. Why is the 1986 with D Jefferson nickel particularly sought after? For one, coins from the 1980s are becoming increasingly popular as they age. While not quite vintage, they are beginning to cross that threshold from being everyday currency to becoming part of the collectible coin market. One key reason collectors focus on these coins is due to their condition and rarity in higher grades. Even though limited of 1986 with D nickels were minted, finding one in a well-preserved state like very fine or better can be a bit more challenging. The circulation wear and tear over decades means fewer of these coins remain in top condition, which in turn drives demand among collectors. Now, the big question, what is the value of a 1986 with D Jefferson nickel in very fine condition today? As of now, the 1986 with D. Jefferson nickel typically holds a collector value ranging between $350,000 in very fine condition. This might seem highest. However, the exact value can vary depending on factors such as the demand among collectors. Coins from this era can fluctuate in value as they gain more interest from numismatists who seek out well-preserved coins for their collections. Any unique characteristics or errors? Some nickels from this period might contain minting errors or variations which can increase their desirability and price. While the 1986 with D. Jefferson nickel in very fine condition may not have sky-high value today, it holds potential for future growth. As more collectors seek to complete their sets of Jefferson nickels from the 1980s, and as fewer of these coins remain in circulation, their value could gradually rise. If you're a collector looking to invest, holding on to well-preserved examples of the Jefferson nickel might be a smart move. In time, even coins from the 1980s, like this 1986 with D variant, could see notable increases in value. If you're lucky enough to have a 1986 with D. Jefferson nickel in very fine condition, you'll want to preserve its quality to maintain or even increase its value. Here are some quick tips for taking care of your coins. Store in a protective holder. Use a coin holder or flip to prevent further wear and protect against dirt and oils from your hands. Avoid cleaning your coin. Cleaning can damage the surface and diminish the coin's value. Keep in a controlled environment. Store your coins in a cool, dry place away from humidity or extreme temperatures. By taking these precautions, you can ensure that your coin stays in the best condition possible, which is crucial for maximizing its value. And there you have it, the story of the 1986 with D. Jefferson nickel in very fine condition. While it may be the rarest or most valuable coin in today's market, it holds its place as an interesting piece of U.S. coinage history and has the potential for future appreciation in value. If you're a collector or just a fan of history, the Jefferson nickel offers a fascinating glimpse into the past, and owning one from 1986 with the D mint mark is like holding a little piece of that history in your hands. Next up, a special focus on the 25-cent coin from 2008. If you're holding on to one of these coins in MS40 to MS45 condition, you might be surprised by its current market value. Stay tuned as we explore the history, unique features, and the collector market that makes this coin so valuable. First, let's set the stage with a bit of history. The 25-cent coin, also known as a quarter, has been a staple of Canadian currency for well over a century. The 2008 version is no ordinary coin. It's a product of meticulous craftsmanship by the Royal Canadian Mint. The obverse features the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Susanna Blunt, a portrait that has been on Canadian coins since 2003. The reverse side, as always, carries the iconic caribou, a symbol synonymous with the Canadian wilderness. Now, let's talk about coin grading specifically, what it means for a coin to be in MS40 to MS45 condition. MS stands for mint state, a term used to describe coins that have never been in circulation and exhibit no signs of wear. The numbers 40 to 45 refer to the coin's grade on the Sheldon scale, where 40 represents a coin with slight imperfections and subdued luster, and 45 shows even fewer marks with a slightly higher level of eye appeal. While these grades are not as high as MS60 or above, they still indicate a coin that has been well preserved, with visible details and minimal damage. Coins in this range are highly collectible, especially when they're from a significant year like 2008. So, what makes the 2008 Canada 25 cents coin special? For one, 2008 was a year of economic uncertainty globally, which affected coin production and circulation. Additionally, 2008 coins are part of a modern era of Canadian currency that has seen the transition to more durable, multiply steel compositions away from the nickel coins of the past. The result is a coin that is not only durable but also visually appealing, with a bright finish that resists tarnishing. Collectors also value the 2008 quarters for their rarity in higher grades. Finding a 2008 quarter in MS40 to MS45 condition can be challenging, which adds to its allure in the numismatic market. Now, let's get to the heart of the matter. What's the current market value of a 2008 Canada 25 cents coin in MS40 to MS45 condition? As of today, the collector market has shown a strong interest in these coins, with values ranging from $130,000, depending on the exact condition and market demand. The market for Canadian quarters, especially those from recent decades, has been steadily increasing as collectors recognize the historical significance and relative rarity of high-grade examples. MS40 to MS45 coins, while not perfect, represent a sweet spot for collectors looking for expensive, affordable, yet valuable pieces. These coins are also appealing to investors who see them as potential long-term assets given the upward trend in their value. If you're thinking about adding a 2008 Canada 25 cents coin to your collection or investment portfolio, here are a few tips. Consider investing in a professional coin grading service if you believe your coin might be on the higher end of the MS40 to MS45 range. This can significantly boost its market value. Store your coins properly. Avoid handling them with bare hands and keep them in a cool, dry place, ideally in a protective holder or slab, to prevent any damage or tarnishing over time. Next up, we're taking a close look at the Spain 10 euro cent coin from 2007 with the M mint mark in very fine condition. This coin is a gem for collectors, and in this video, we'll uncover its history, design, and its current market value in dollars. So, if you're a coin enthusiast or just curious about the world of coin collecting, stick around. Let's start by setting the stage with some history. The Spain 10 euro cent coin is part of the euro currency, which was introduced in Spain and other Eurozone countries in 2002. The euro was adopted to unify the European market with a single currency, and the coins feature national designs on one side with a standard common design on the reverse. The 2007 Spain 10 euro cent coin features the famous portrait of King Juan Carlos I of Spain. Juan Carlos I was the King of Spain from 1975 to 2014 and played a significant role in transitioning Spain from dictatorship to democracy. His portrait appears on all Spanish euro coins issued during his reign, making them a symbol of modern Spanish history. Now, what makes this coin particularly interesting is the M mint mark. The M indicates that this coin was minted at the Royal Mint of Spain, located in Madrid. Mint marks are crucial for collectors because they often denote where a coin was produced, and in some cases they can significantly affect the coin's value. The M mint mark on this particular coin is a key detail for numismatists. The Spain 10 euro cent coin has a unique design that reflects both Spanish and European identities. On the obverse, as mentioned, we have the portrait of King Juan Carlos I, facing to the left. Surrounding his portrait are the words España and the year 2007. The M mint mark is also visible, subtly placed near the king's shoulder, adding to the coin's authenticity. On the reverse side, we have the standard euro cent design common to all 10 euro cent coins. It features a map of Europe that has been modified to include the new member states of the European Union, symbolizing unity and integration across the continent. Before we jump into the market value, it's essential to understand the condition of this coin. Coins are graded based on their physical state, which can range from poor to uncirculated. The Spain 10 euro cent 2007 coin we're discussing is in very fine condition. Very fine condition means that the coin shows signs of wear on the higher parts of the design but still retains a good amount of detail. There might be some light scratches or small marks, but the overall appearance is still sharp. For collectors, a coin in very fine condition is quite desirable, especially when it's an older or rare coin like this one. Now let's talk about the big question: what is the market value of a Spain 10 euro cent 2007 with the M mint mark in very fine condition today? As of today, the collector's market for euro coins is quite dynamic, with values depending on rarity, demand, and condition. The Spain 10 euro cent 2007 with the M mint mark, particularly in very fine condition, is considered moderately valuable, though it's one of the most expensive euro coins. However, it does hold a certain appeal for collectors who focus on euro coins, Spanish coins, or coins with historical significance. In the current market, a Spain 10 euro cent 2007 coin with the M mint mark in very fine condition can typically sell for $75,000. This value might seem highest, and it's important to remember that the coin's value could increase over time, especially if it becomes more scarce or if there's a surge in demand for euro coins from this era. The key to maximizing the value of such a coin is to keep it well preserved and possibly have it professionally graded if you believe it's in particularly good condition. Coins with official grading and authentication often fetch higher prices in the collector's market. The Spain 10 euro cent 2007 with the M mint mark in very fine condition is a fascinating piece for collectors, especially those interested in European coins or the history of modern Spain. While its current market value might be sky high, and it's a coin with historical significance and the potential to appreciate over time. Next up, we're shining the spotlight on a coin that's often overlooked but might be worth more than you think: the 1977 with D Lincoln cent in extra fine condition. Stick around to learn why this uncommon-looking penny could be a valuable addition to your collection and how much it could fetch in today's collector market. Let's start with a bit of history. The Lincoln cent, as most of you know, was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a historical figure on the obverse, a tradition that continues to this day. By 1977, the Lincoln cent had undergone a few changes, most notably in its metal composition. The 1977 Lincoln cent was struck in a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc, weighing 3.11 grams. This composition was standard until 1982, when the U.S. Mint transitioned to the current copper-plated zinc cents. The D mint mark on this coin indicates that it was minted in Denver, one of the three mints that produced Lincoln cents at the time, alongside Philadelphia and San Francisco. In 1977, the Denver Mint produced limited Lincoln cents, making this coin far from rare, at least in terms of mintage numbers. But as with many coins, condition and specific details can elevate its value. Now, you might be wondering, why would anyone pay more than you think for a 1977 with D penny? The answer lies in the coin's condition, rarity of certain mint errors, and the interest from collectors. A Lincoln cent from 1977 with D in extra fine XF condition is highly sought after. Extra fine condition means the coin has light wear on the highest points of the design, but overall, it retains sharp details and a decent amount of its original luster. The coin's appearance is key. Collectors value coins that look nearly as good as they did when they left the mint. Coins with mint errors can also command higher prices. Look for coins with double die errors, off-center strikes, or other unusual features. While these errors are not unique to the 1977 with D penny, finding one in extra fine condition can increase its value significantly. Although particularly rare, the 1977 with D penny is part of a period in U.S. history when inflation was high, and people were paying more attention to the value of money, even the humble penny. This adds an extra layer of interest for collectors. So how much is a 1977 with D Lincoln cent in extra fine condition worth today? As of today, these coins typically sell for around $290,000. While this might seem like a fortune, however, the price can go higher depending on the market demand, the presence of any mint errors, or if it's part of a high-quality set. It's also worth noting that coin values fluctuate based on the broader numismatic market, which can be influenced by factors like precious metal prices, economic conditions, and even trends in coin collecting. Even if your 1977 with D penny is worth $290,000 today, it's still worth holding on to, especially if it's in extra fine condition. As time goes on and more of these coins fall out of circulation or are damaged, the number of high-quality examples will naturally decrease. This could lead to an increase in value, making them more desirable to future collectors. Moreover, as a collector, you know the thrill isn't just in the highest value, it's in the history, the craftsmanship, and the stories these coins tell. In conclusion, while the 1977 with D Lincoln cent give you a high price, it's a fascinating piece of American history and a worthwhile addition to any collection, especially in extra fine condition. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting, keep an eye out for these pennies, they might surprise you. Next up, we're diving into the fascinating world of Canadian coin collecting, focusing on the Canada 1 cent coin from 1980. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just starting your collection, this coin offers some intriguing details that you won't want to miss. We're going to explore its history, design, and most importantly, its current market value in fine condition. So let's get started. The Canada 1 cent coin, commonly known as the penny, has a rich history in Canadian currency. The 1980 edition is part of a long line of 1 cent coins that have been in circulation since Canada began issuing its own coinage in 1858. The 1980 penny is especially interesting because it falls within the final decades of the coin's production, as Canada would eventually stop minting pennies in 2012. This particular year, 1980, was a period of relative stability in Canada's economy, with the penny being a staple of everyday transactions. It was struck at the Royal Canadian Mint, which is renowned for its high-quality coinage. The penny was widely used across the country, making it a common but significant part of Canadian life. Let's talk about the design of the 1980 Canada 1 cent coin. The obverse, or front side, features the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin. This design was first introduced in 1965 and became a classic image on Canadian coinage. Queen Elizabeth II is depicted in a more youthful appearance, wearing a tiara, symbolizing her role as the head of state. On the reverse side, you'll find the iconic maple leaf design. The maple leaf has been a symbol of Canada and its natural beauty for centuries, and it's one of the most recognizable symbols associated with the country. The reverse design was created by G.E. Kruger Gray and has been featured on Canadian pennies since 1937. It shows two maple leaves attached to a twig, with the denomination 1 cent and the year 1980 below. In terms of specifications, the 1980 penny is made from 98% copper, 0.5% tin, and 1.5% zinc. It has a diameter of 19.05 mm and weighs 2.5 grams. When it comes to coin collecting, condition is everything. The grade of a coin can significantly affect its value. For the 1980 Canada 1 cent coin, we'll focus on the fine condition. In coin grading, fine condition refers to a coin that has moderate wear but still retains all of its major details. For this 1980 penny, that means the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse will show some wear. But the key features like the facial details and tiara are still visible. The maple leaf on the reverse will also show signs of wear, particularly on the edges of the leaves, but the overall design remains clear. A coin in fine condition is typically one that has seen some circulation but has been well preserved enough to retain its collectible value. It's important to note that even small differences in condition can lead to significant variations in market value. Now, let's get to the part you've all been waiting for: the current market value of a 1980 Canada 1-cent coin in fine condition. As of today, the collector market for Canadian pennies is strong, particularly for those who appreciate the historical significance and classic design of these coins. While the 1980 penny is considered rare, its value has increased over time due to the growing interest in Canadian numismatics and the fact that pennies are no longer in production. In fine condition, a 1980 Canada 1-cent coin typically sells for $105,000. While this might seem like a lot, and it's important to remember that this coin was originally worth only 1 cent. Several factors can influence the value of your 1980 Canada 1-cent coin. First and foremost is condition, as we've discussed. Coins in better condition will always fetch higher prices. Rarity is another factor. While the 1980 penny is particularly rare, specific mint errors or variations in the coin can make certain pieces more valuable. Lastly, demand plays a crucial role. As more collectors become interested in Canadian coinage, the demand for coins like the 1980 penny increases, which can drive up prices. Next up, exploring the Monticello Jefferson nickel minted in 1961 with the D mint mark. This 5-cent coin has more to it than meets the eye, especially when you start digging into its historical significance and value in today's collector market. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel that had been in circulation since 1913. The design of the coin was chosen through a national competition and featured a portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse side, with his famous home Monticello on the reverse. The winner of the contest was Felix Schlag, whose depiction of Jefferson's home still graces the coin to this day. Fast forward to 1961. The United States Mint produced limited of Jefferson nickels that year, with the D mint mark indicating that this particular coin was struck in Denver. While the 1961 Jefferson nickel may not seem like an ordinary coin, it's a favorite among collectors for its unique design and historical context. Let's take a closer look at the specifics of the 1961 D Jefferson nickel. Like other Jefferson nickels, it is composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel. It weighs 5 grams and has a diameter of 21.21 millimeters. On the obverse, you'll find a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, with the inscriptions "In God We Trust" and "Liberty" around the edge, and the date 1961. On the reverse side, we see the depiction of Monticello, Jefferson's iconic Virginia home, with the words "E pluribus unum United States of America" and 5 cents encircling it. The D mint mark, indicating the coin was minted in Denver, is positioned to the right of Monticello, near the edge. The 1961 with D nickel is special to collectors due to its low mint stake quality and the presence of strong details, particularly on Jefferson's face and Monticello. These features can significantly impact the value, especially when they remain sharp and well preserved over time. The condition we're focusing on today is fine, which refers to a coin that shows moderate wear but still retains most of its design details. A fine condition 1961 with D Jefferson nickel will have some softening in the finer details, particularly around Jefferson's hair and Monticello's columns. However, the overall design remains clear and recognizable. In fine condition, these nickels might show some light scratches or discoloration from being in circulation, but they are still sought after by collectors who appreciate their historical value and design. Now, let's get to the part that many of you are eager to hear about: the current collector market value of a 1961 with D Jefferson nickel in fine condition. As of today, a 1961 with D Jefferson nickel in fine condition may fetch extremely high prices like some of the rarest coins out there, but it still holds value. For a coin in fine condition, you're likely looking at a value of around $150,000, depending on the specific wear and tear and market demand. It's important to remember that the collector's market can fluctuate, and what may seem like a highest value today could appreciate over time, especially as the supply of well-preserved coins diminishes. So, why collect Jefferson nickels, and specifically the 1961 with D nickel? Jefferson nickels are a staple of American coinage. While they may have the allure of more expensive silver or gold coins, Jefferson nickels like the 1961 with D represent a piece of American history that is both accessible and rewarding to collect. Building a complete collection of Jefferson nickels from 1938 to the present day can be a fun and engaging challenge for hobbyists. With each year and mint mark offering something slightly different, there's always something new to discover. Whether you're just starting out as a coin collector or you're a seasoned numismatist, the Monticello Jefferson nickel, especially the 1961 with D, is a fascinating piece to add to your collection. Its historical significance, combined with its distinctive design, makes it a must-have for any coin enthusiast, and while its current market value may be sky-high, the satisfaction of holding a piece of American history in your hands is truly priceless. Next up, we're taking a deep dive into one of the most intriguing coins in the Jefferson nickel series, the 1946 Jefferson nickel with the S mint mark. This seemingly ordinary nickel has gained significant value over the years, and if you own one in very fine condition, you could be holding a piece of history worth much more than 5 cents. Before we dive into the fascinating details of this coin, make sure to hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell so you won't miss out on any of our future videos about valuable coins. The Jefferson nickel series started in 1938 and has been a staple of American currency ever since. In 1946, the United States was transitioning from the World War II era, and nickel production returned to its pre-war alloy of 75% copper and 25% nickel after using silver in the war nickels from 1942 to 1945. This makes the 1946 issue the first year after the war nickels, returning to the traditional composition. The design on the reverse side features Monticello, Thomas Jefferson's home, which became an iconic symbol of his legacy. The obverse, of course, bears Jefferson's profile, which was designed by Felix Schlag. One of the key features that makes this particular Jefferson nickel special is the S Mint mark, indicating it was struck at the San Francisco Mint. During this period, the San Francisco Mint produced fewer Jefferson nickels compared to other mints, making these coins rare and more desirable among collectors. The total mintage of the 1946 Jefferson nickel with the S Mint mark was around 13.5 million, which is relatively low compared to the other mint locations. The Denver Mint produced over 45 million that year, and the Philadelphia Mint struck nearly 161 million. This scarcity is one of the factors contributing to its collector value today. When it comes to determining the value of your 1946 Jefferson nickel, condition is key. The coin's grade can make a significant difference in its market price. We're focusing on the very fine condition. A coin in very fine condition will show moderate wear, particularly on Jefferson's face, but the details of Monticello on the reverse side should still be sharp and defined. This grade means the coin has circulated but is still in relatively good shape with clear details. If you're unsure about your coin's grade, it's always a good idea to consult a professional coin grading service. Now, let's talk about what you've all been waiting for: the current market value of the 1946 Jefferson nickel with the S Mint mark in very fine condition. The market for collectible coins can fluctuate, but as of today, these nickels are seeing a strong demand. In very fine condition, the 1946 S Jefferson nickel typically sells for between $370,000. While that might sound like a lot at first glance, remember, this is significantly higher than the face value of just 5 cents. And as the coin market continues to grow, especially for vintage and historical coins, the value could rise even further. So there you have it, the 1946 Jefferson nickel with the S Mint mark is more than a piece of pocket change. Its historical significance, low mintage numbers, and growing market demand make it a valuable addition to any collection, especially in very fine condition. If you have one of these coins, make sure to handle it with care and consider getting it graded. Who knows? You might be sitting on a hidden treasure that could increase in value in the coming years. Next up, where we delve deep into the fascinating world of rare and collectible coins. If you're passionate about numismatics or simply curious about the hidden treasures in your pocket change, you're in the right place. Today we're talking about one of the most iconic and widely sought after coins in US history, the wheat penny. Specifically, we'll be focusing on the 1955 wheat penny with a D Mint mark in very fine condition and a dark brown shade. This humble coin, often found tucked away in old coin jars or inherited collections, holds a special place in the hearts of collectors. The wheat penny was minted from 1909 to 1958 and is known for its distinctive reverse side featuring 2 wheat stalks surrounding the words 1 cent. But today we're focusing on the 1955 wheat penny with a D Mint mark, a coin that has garnered significant attention in the collector's market. So, what makes the 1955 with D wheat penny special, and why is it worth taking a closer look at? Let's break it down. The 1955 wheat penny was struck during a time of economic growth in the United States. In particular, the Denver Mint, represented by the D Mint mark on the coin, produced limited of pennies that year. The total mintage for the 1955 with D penny was approximately limited coins. While this may seem like a small number, the allure of this coin lies in its condition, toning, and the lasting appeal of the Lincoln Wheat Cent series. The large mintage may lead you to think that the 1955 with D penny is worth much. That's not the case, especially when you find one in very fine condition, with a distinct dark brown shade. The combination of rarity in higher grades, the history behind the coin, and the growing demand from collectors makes it highly sought after. Condition is everything when it comes to coin collecting. The 1955 with D wheat penny we're discussing today is graded as very fine, which means it shows moderate wear. But all major features are still sharp and clear. Lincoln's face, hair, and the wheat stalks on the reverse are well defined, though some high points may show wear. The dark brown toning on this particular penny adds an extra layer of appeal. Over time, copper coins can develop a natural patina that darkens their appearance. Collectors often prize these toned coins for their unique character. The rich, dark brown color enhances the coin's appearance and can even add to its overall value, depending on the buyer's preference. Now, let's talk numbers, the part we've all been waiting for. What is the current market value of a 1955 with D wheat penny in very fine condition with a dark brown shade? While it's important to note that market values can fluctuate based on demand, auction trends, and the coin's specific features, we can give you a general idea of what to expect. In today's market, a 1955 with D wheat penny in very fine condition typically sells for anywhere between $230,000. However, when you add in the unique dark brown toning, you may be able to fetch slightly more, especially from collectors who are interested in coins with distinctive coloration. If the coin is particularly attractive or exhibits exceptional toning, values can rise up to $270,000 or more. If you have a well-preserved, toned 1955 with D wheat penny, it's worth checking out current listings to see how similar coins are being valued. The 1955 out D wheat penny may seem like an ordinary coin to the untrained eye, but for collectors, it's a piece of history that carries both sentimental and monetary value. Whether you're new to the hobby or a seasoned numismatist, keeping an eye out for coins like this, especially those with unique toning, could prove to be a rewarding experience. So, the next time you're going through your old penny collection, don't overlook those wheat pennies, especially if you come across a 1955 with D in very fine condition with that beautiful dark brown shade. You never know, you might just have a hidden gem in your collection. Next up, we're talking about a coin that's been in circulation for over 50 years and still holds a fascinating place in collectors' hearts, the Lincoln 1 cent from 1970 with the Denver Mint mark. And specifically, we're focusing on one that's in very fine condition. The big question for today is, how much is this coin really worth in today's collector market? Stick around because you might be surprised at the value of this humble penny. Before we dive into the value, let's take a quick look at the history of the Lincoln 1 cent from 1970 and why the D Mint mark makes it special. The Lincoln Cent series began in 1909, commemorating the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, one of the United States' most revered presidents. This coin was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, replacing the Indian head cent. The obverse side of the Lincoln cent displays the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, while the reverse until 1958 showcased the iconic wheat design, after which it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design that we see here on this 1970 coin. But what makes this coin stand out is the D Mint mark, located just below the date on the front. This tells us that the coin was minted at the Denver Mint, one of the major coin production facilities in the U.S. Back in 1970, the Denver Mint produced limited Lincoln cents. That's an unmassive number. But it doesn't mean every coin from that year is equally valuable. The condition and the demand play a crucial role in determining a coin's worth in today's market. So now that we know a little history, let's dive into what makes a very fine condition 1970 with D Lincoln cent worth paying attention to today. Coin grading is one of the most important factors in determining the value of a coin. For those new to the hobby, coin grades range from poor P1 all the way to mint state MS70 with numerous variations in between. A coin in very fine VF condition is defined by distinct wear on the high points of the design, but overall, most of the finer details are still visible. You might see some smoothness around Lincoln's hair, his cheekbone, or the lines of his suit, but the features should remain clear, and the lettering and date should still be sharp. For a 1970 with D penny in very fine condition, you'll notice that while there's some wear from circulation, the overall coin is still very appealing. The Lincoln Memorial on the reverse will have all its columns and details visible, though they might be slightly worn down. Now, let's get to the part you've all been waiting for, the collector market value. For many Lincoln cents, the true value comes down to rarity and condition. But for the 1970 with D penny, it's also about demand among collectors. While it's the rarest penny, coins in very fine condition have a higher market value than those that are heavily circulated. In today's collector market, you can expect a 1970 with D Lincoln cent in very fine condition to be worth anywhere between $290,000. That might sound highest. For a coin that was once worth just a penny, it has held its value incredibly well over the decades. The appeal of this particular penny also lies in the fact that it's accessible to new collectors. You won't need to break the bank to start collecting Lincoln cents, making this an attractive option for anyone looking to get into the hobby. If you're interested in adding a 1970 with D Lincoln cent to your collection, or you just want to start your journey as a numismatist, here are a few tips. Search your change. You never know when a 1970 with D Lincoln cent might pop up. Even if it's not in the best condition, attend coin shows. Coin shows are great for finding rare coins and meeting other collectors who can offer insight into market trends. Remember, building a collection isn't just about finding the most expensive coins, it's about enjoying the process of learning, collecting, and sharing your knowledge with others. So there you have it, the Lincoln 1 cent from 1970 with D Mint mark in very fine condition may give you a decent amount overnight, but it's a fascinating piece of American history that's well worth collecting. Whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned collector, the Lincoln Cent series offers something for everyone. And who knows, your next great find might be hiding in your pocket change. Next up, we're diving deep into the fascinating story of the 1962 with D mint mark Monticello Jefferson nickel with a unique twist. It's got a mysterious black shade. What makes this coin stand out, and what's it worth in today's collector market? Stick around, you might be surprised. First, let's rewind the clock. The Jefferson nickel was introduced back in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. It features a profile of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse side and his famous home, Monticello, on the reverse. This coin has been a staple of American currency for decades, but like any coin, certain years and mint marks hold a unique place in the hearts of collectors. One such year is 1962, particularly those minted at the Denver Mint, which carry the D mint mark just to the right of Monticello on the reverse side of the coin. While the 1962 with D mint mark Jefferson nickel might seem particularly rare at first glance, certain conditions can make them highly desirable. But here's where things get really interesting. Some 1962 with D Jefferson nickels have developed a black shade over time. This could be due to a variety of factors, including environmental exposure, chemical reactions with the metal, or toning that occurs naturally as coins age. This black toning isn't something you typically see on every Jefferson nickel, making these pieces stand out from the crowd. Collectors often refer to these as black shaded nickels, and they carry a sense of mystery about their origins. While some collectors might seek out pristine, untoned examples, others are drawn to the character and uniqueness that this toning provides. Now, let's talk about coin grading. Grading is a crucial part of determining a coin's value. The 1962 with D nickel we're discussing is graded in very fine condition. In this state, the coin exhibits moderate wear but retains much of its original detail. Key features like Jefferson's face and Monticello are still visible, though they may show signs of age and circulation. Very fine is a mid-level grade, meaning the coin isn't in mint condition, but it's still in solid shape for its age. Combine this grade with the unique black shading, and you've got a real collector's piece. Alright, now to the part you've been waiting for, the value of this black shaded 1962 with D Monticello Jefferson nickel in today's collector market. While standard Jefferson nickels from this era in very fine condition might typically range between $390,000 depending on the buyer, that black shade toning we talked about can change everything. Collectors who are passionate about unique toning and rare variations are willing to pay a premium for coins that stand out. The exact value of a black shaded 1962 with D Jefferson nickel in very fine condition can vary. If the coin has particularly eye-catching toning and is well preserved, it might even fetch higher bids from enthusiastic collectors. Keep in mind that market values fluctuate depending on supply, demand, and the specific condition of each coin. If you're looking to sell or buy one of these unique pieces. Now, if you're lucky enough to own a 1962 with D Jefferson nickel with black shading or any other valuable coin, preserving its condition is key to maintaining or even increasing its value. Avoid exposing them to direct sunlight or extreme temperatures and store them in proper coin holders or albums. Avoid using harsh chemicals or cleaning methods that could damage the coin's surface, especially if it has unique toning, as cleaning it might remove what makes it special in the first place. So, what do you think? Could that old Jefferson nickel in your collection be worth more than you thought? The 1962 with D Monticello Jefferson nickel with black shading is a perfect example of how the smallest details can have the biggest impact on a coin's value. If you have any coins like this, drop a comment below and let us know. We'd love to hear about your collection. Next up, we're diving into one of the classics, the 1949 wheat penny without a mint mark in very fine condition with a unique black shade. This penny might look small, but its collector value today is making a big impact in the coin market. If you're lucky enough to own one or thinking about hunting for one, you don't want to miss this. The 1949 wheat penny is part of the Lincoln Wheat Cent series, a coin that's been a favorite among collectors for decades. This series was minted from 1909 to 1958 and is easily recognizable due to the iconic wheat stalks on the reverse side, symbolizing prosperity and growth. But what makes the 1949 version without a mint mark so special? Let's break it down. 1949 was a pivotal year for America. World War II had ended a few years earlier, and the country was rebuilding, transitioning into a new era of prosperity. During this time, the U.S. Mint continued producing the Lincoln Wheat Cent, with limited of them entering circulation across the country. The ones minted in Philadelphia, which produced limited pennies that year, bore no mint mark, unlike their counterparts from Denver and San Francisco. Now, you may be asking, what does no mint mark mean? The absence of a mint mark indicates that the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which during that time did not add a mint mark to the coins it produced. So, when you see a 1949 penny without D or S on it, you know it came from Philadelphia. What really sets some of these 1949 wheat pennies apart is not just the fact that they come from Philadelphia, but also their condition. Coins in very fine condition are typically defined by their wear or lack thereof. In a very fine grade, you'll still be able to see the fine details on Lincoln's face, the wheat stalks on the reverse, and minimal wear overall. But what about this black shade we're talking about? Over time, some copper coins, like the wheat penny, can develop a dark or blackish patina. This is usually the result of natural oxidation or being exposed to different environmental elements, such as moisture or chemicals. Over decades, for some collectors, this unique toning can add an extra level of charm and rarity to the coin. While the black shade itself does necessarily increase the value significantly, it can make the coin more appealing to certain collectors who seek out toned or uniquely aged coins. The key is that the coin must still be in very fine condition, meaning the details should be clear, despite the dark patina. Now let's talk numbers. What is the collector market value for the 1949 wheat penny without a mint mark in very fine condition with this black shade? On average, a 1949 wheat penny without a mint mark in very fine condition sells for around $600,000. That might seem like a lot, but wait, there's more to consider. If your coin is exceptionally well preserved and has a strong demand from collectors, especially with a unique black toning, it could fetch upwards of $650,000 or more. And remember, the market for coins is constantly changing, meaning that the value can increase over time, especially as more people become interested in coin collecting. It's always a good idea to keep your coins in excellent condition to maximize their future worth. Proper storage is crucial for maintaining the value of your coins. For a very fine wheat penny, you'll want to avoid exposing it to harsh environments that could lead to further oxidation, or where coin holders like this one are a great way to protect your investment. Before you rush off to check your coin collection, it's important to know that counterfeit wheat pennies do exist, especially for key dates and rare varieties. Here are some quick tips on how to spot a fake. Look closely at the font of the numbers and letters. Counterfeit coins often have subtle differences in the size or alignment of the text. Another giveaway can be the weight and feel of the coin, so if you're unsure, consider getting it evaluated by a professional numismatist. So there you have it, the 1949 wheat penny without a mint mark in very fine condition with a black shade might make you an overnight millionaire, but it's a fascinating piece of American history that continues to captivate collectors today. Whether you find it in your pocket change, an old coin collection, or at a coin shop, it's definitely worth keeping an eye on. Next up, we've got something special for you, the 1974 Monticello Jefferson nickel with no mint mark. Whether you're a beginner collector or a seasoned numismatist, this coin holds a significant place in U.S. coinage history, and we're about to explore why. We'll also look into its market value in today's collector's market. So, let's get started. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. Designed by Felix Schlag, the nickel features an image of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse side and his famous Monticello home on the reverse. Jefferson, as you know, was the third president of the United States and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence. The reverse of the coin showcases Monticello, Jefferson's iconic Virginia plantation. Over the years, this design has remained mostly unchanged, which adds to the nostalgic appeal for collectors. Now, let's fast forward to 1974. This particular year saw limited of Jefferson nickels struck at the Philadelphia Mint. When a U.S. coin lacks a mint mark, it typically indicates that it was minted in Philadelphia, which didn't traditionally use a mint mark until later years. The 1974 nickel without a mint mark is quite uncommon, but its condition greatly influences its value in the collector's market. Today, we're specifically looking at a fine condition example of this coin. Coin grading is crucial when determining a coin's value. A coin in fine condition shows moderate wear but still retains most of the major details. For the 1974 Jefferson nickel, this means you'll notice some wear on Jefferson's face and Monticello's finer details, but the coin remains fully recognizable and aesthetically pleasing. In fine condition, the lines on Monticello may be a bit smooth, and Jefferson's cheek and jawline will show significant signs of wear, but overall, it's still a great addition to any collection. Now, let's talk about value. In today's market, the value of a 1974 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark in fine condition can vary based on demand and the platform you're using to buy or sell. Generally speaking, you can expect this coin to fetch around $200,000. Why should you consider collecting the 1974 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark? Well, even though it's a high-value coin, it's an important piece of U.S. history. The Jefferson nickel is one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history, and its association with one of America's founding fathers adds to its appeal. For beginner collectors, this coin offers an affordable and accessible way to start building a collection of historical U.S. currency. It's also a great coin to use for teaching kids about coin collecting and American history. As you build your collection, you can search for higher-grade examples or even aim to complete a set of Jefferson nickels from various years and mints. In conclusion, while the 1974 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark may be the most valuable coin in your collection, it certainly has its place in the world of numismatics. Its historical significance, combined with its hard affordability, makes it an excellent coin for collectors of all levels. If you're on the hunt for one of these coins, or if you already have one in your collection, now you know more about its history and value. Next up, we're diving into a truly fascinating piece from Canada, the 25 cents Harmony coin from the year 2000. If you're a collector or just someone who loves unique coins, then you're going to want to stick around because this coin has quite the story and a surprising value in today's market. Let's get into it. The Canada 25 cents Harmony coin is part of the highly collectible Millennium series released by the Royal Canadian Mint to celebrate the new millennium. The series features 12 different designs, each representing a different theme related to Canada's rich heritage and future aspirations. The Harmony coin, released in June 2000, symbolizes the country's cultural harmony and the diversity of its people. This particular coin showcases a beautiful design featuring a pair of doves, which are universally recognized symbols of peace and harmony. Canada is known for its multicultural society, and the Harmony coin perfectly encapsulates that spirit. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, this coin holds a special place in the hearts of many. Now, let's talk about the condition of the coin, specifically MS40 to MS45. MS stands for mint state, which means the coin is in its original uncirculated condition. The numbers 40 to 45 indicate that the coin shows minimal signs of wear but still retains much of its original luster. An MS40 coin might have slight wear on the highest points, while an MS45 coin will have slightly more evident signs of circulation. These grades are still highly sought after, especially for coins from special series like the Millennium set. A coin in this grade range is ideal for collectors who are looking for a balance between quality and affordability. They're still in excellent condition, but are more accessible compared to higher MS grades like MS60 or MS65. So what's the market value for a Canada 25 cents Harmony 2000 coin in MS40 to MS45 condition today? Well, like any collectible, the value can vary based on demand, rarity, and the specific grade of the coin. As of today, coins in the MS40 to MS45 range are valued between $200,000. That's a fantastic return for a 25-cent piece, especially considering that its face value is so low. It's important to note that prices can fluctuate, especially as interest in this particular series grows. We've seen instances where coins from the Millennium series have seen spikes in value due to increased demand from collectors who are completing their sets and big investment. Why is this coin valuable? Several factors come into play here. First, the Millennium series itself is highly collectible. Many collectors aim to complete the entire set or investment for future, and the Harmony coin is a key piece. Second, the design is both aesthetically pleasing and meaningful, representing a theme that resonates with many. Finally, the condition of the coin plays a major role. Even though MS40 to MS45 isn't the highest grade, it's still considered in great shape for a coin over 2 decades old. If you're looking to invest or simply add to your collection, now might be a great time to seek out this coin in MS40 to MS45 condition. The combination of its historical significance, beautiful design, and solid market value makes it a worthwhile addition. Store properly to maintain the coin's value. Keep it in a safe, dry place, ideally in a protective holder or capsule to prevent any further wear. Remember, collecting coins is not just about the highest value, it's also about the history and the stories each piece holds. The Harmony coin is a beautiful reminder of the unity and diversity that Canada celebrates. Next up, we're diving into the fascinating world of Singaporean currency to explore a coin that's been gaining significant attention in the collector's market. The star of today's show is the Singapore $1 coin from 2011, featuring the coveted SM Mint mark and graded in very fine condition. If you're curious about its current market value and why it's become such a sought-after piece, stay tuned as we uncover all the details. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of the market value, let's take a step back and talk about the history and significance of Singapore's $1 coins. The Singapore $1 coin was first introduced in 1987 as part of the third series of Singapore coins. These coins were issued by the Monetary Authority of Singapore and are still in circulation today. The $1 coin features a unique design that reflects Singapore's rich cultural heritage. The obverse side of the coin typically displays the Singapore coat of arms along with the year of issue. On the reverse, you'll find an image of the iconic Merlion, a mythical creature with the head of a lion and the body of a fish, symbolizing Singapore's humble beginnings as a fishing village and its growth into a prosperous metropolis. Now, what makes the 2011 $1 coin so special is its SM Mint mark. This mark indicates that the coin was minted at the Singapore Mint, a detail that adds to its rarity and appeal among collectors. The 2011 Singapore $1 coin with the SM Mint mark is part of the later issues in the third series. What makes this coin particularly intriguing is its limited mintage and the fact that not all $1 coins from this year carry the SM mark. This rarity is a key factor driving its value in the collector's market. When it comes to grading, the condition of a coin is crucial in determining its value. The coin we're discussing today is in very fine condition. In numismatic terms, a coin in very fine condition shows moderate wear on its high points, but the details are still sharp and clearly visible. This level of preservation makes it a desirable piece for collectors who are looking to add a well-preserved, yet historic coin to their collection. Now, let's get to the part you've all been waiting for: the market value of the Singapore $1 2011 coin with the SM Mint mark in very fine condition. As of today, this coin has been gaining traction among collectors both in Singapore and internationally. The demand for this coin has risen due to its relative rarity, historical significance, and the growing interest in Singaporean numismatics. On the collector's market today, a Singapore $1 2011 with the SM Mint mark in very fine condition can fetch anywhere $85,000. This valuation can vary depending on the specific market conditions, the buyer's interest, and the coin's provenance. So, why should you consider adding this coin to your collection? The Singapore $1 2011 with the SM Mint mark is just a piece of currency, and it's a symbol of Singapore's modern history and economic development. Coins like these, which are relatively rare and have distinct features like a special mint mark, tend to appreciate in value over time as they become harder to find. Moreover, Singapore's strong economy and its role as a financial hub in Asia further boost the appeal of its currency in the global collector's market. As the years go by and fewer of these coins remain in circulation, their value is likely to increase, making them a smart investment for both seasoned and new collectors. Next up, we're diving deep into a fascinating coin that could be worth far more than a single cent. I'm talking about the 1972 Lincoln cent with D Mint mark and a very special error: the double die on the obverse side. This little copper coin is making waves in the collector's market, and if you happen to have one in extra fine condition, you might just be sitting on a large fortune. The 1972 Lincoln cent is a rare coin, right? With limited produced at the Denver Mint alone, it's something you'd expect to be rare or valuable. What if I told you that certain 1972 D pennies contain a rare error that could make them worth millions of dollars today? That's right, we're talking about a double die error on the obverse side, also known as a double die obverse or DDO. This error occurs during the minting process when the die, which impresses the image onto the coin, shifts slightly between strikes. The result? A doubled image, most notably seen in the date, liberty, and the words "In God We Trust." This error is often subtle and requires a keen eye or magnification to spot, but once you've seen it, it's unmistakable. Now let's talk about what makes the 1972 with D Lincoln cent with this error so special. The Denver Mint is known for producing a small number of coins. Finding one with a double die error in extra fine condition is incredibly rare. The doubling on this coin is usually most noticeable in the word liberty and in the date 1972. The more pronounced the doubling, the more valuable the coin can be. Grading is crucial when determining the value of any coin, especially one with an error. The coin we're focusing on today is in extra fine condition, which means it shows minimal wear on the high points of the design and the details are sharp and clear. In this grade, the coin retains much of its original luster, making it even more desirable to collectors. But what about the market value? Well, in today's collector market, a 1972 Lincoln cent with D Mint mark and a double die obverse in extra fine condition can fetch a pretty penny depending on the severity of the doubling and the overall condition of the coin. Prices can range from $850,000 for minor doubling in lower grades, all the way up to $1.5 million or more in extra fine condition. And if you're lucky enough to have one in mint state condition, prices can soar even higher. These coins are highly sought after by collectors. Remember, the exact value of your coin depends on its condition, the visibility of the error, and current market demand. If you think you have a 1972 with D Lincoln cent with a double die error, it's worth getting it appraised by a professional. Properly authenticated and graded coins often sell for significantly higher prices, especially if the error is prominent and the coin is in extra fine or better condition. Coin collecting is not just about the highest value, though. It's about the thrill of discovery, the connection to history, and the satisfaction of holding a piece of American heritage in your hands. The 1972 with D Lincoln cent with a double die obverse is a perfect example of how something as small as a penny can have a big impact on your collection, and maybe even your bank account. Next up, we're diving into the fascinating world of Canadian coinage, specifically focusing on the 10-cent coin from 2004 in extra fine condition. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, this coin is one you don't want to miss. We'll explore its historical background, design features, mintage details, and most importantly, its current market value. So if you're curious about how much this little piece of Canadian history is worth today, stick around. First, let's take a step back in time to understand the context in which the 2004 Canada 10-cent coin was minted. The 10-cent coin, often referred to as a dime, has been a staple in Canadian currency since its first issuance in 1858. The design of the coin we see today was introduced in 1937, featuring the iconic Bluenose schooner, a celebrated symbol of Canada's maritime heritage. The Bluenos, a racing ship and fishing vessel from Nova Scotia, became an icon of national pride, and it's no wonder this design has endured for decades. The year 2004 didn't mark any particular significant event for the 10-cent coin, but it continued to be a vital part of Canada's currency system. However, what makes this coin especially interesting to collectors today isn't just its design or mintage, but the condition it's in extra fine, which significantly impacts its market value. Now, let's take a closer look at the design and features of the 2004 Canada 10-cent coin. The obverse or front of the coin features a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. This portrait was created by Canadian artist Susanna Blunt and has been in use on Canadian coins since 2003. Unlike previous portraits, Blunt's depiction of the Queen is notable for its lack of a crown, offering a more modern and approachable image of the monarch. On the reverse side, we have the famous Bluenos schooner, designed by Emmanuel Hahn. This side of the coin remains virtually unchanged since 1937. And for many Canadians, it represents not only a piece of currency but a piece of national identity. The Bluenos symbolizes the strength and determination of Canada's maritime heritage, which is why this coin is cherished by collectors. The coin is made of a composition of nickel-plated steel, giving it durability and a distinctive luster. It has a diameter of 18.03 millimeters and a weight of 1.75 grams, making it a small yet significant piece in any collection. An extra fine coin typically shows only slight wear on the highest points of the design, with all major details still sharp and clear. The luster may be slightly diminished, but the coin's overall appearance remains impressive. For the 2004 Canada 10-cent coin, finding one in extra fine condition can be quite the treasure for collectors, especially considering how many of these coins have been worn down through everyday use. Now, let's get to the part you've all been waiting for: the market value of the 2004 Canada 10-cent coin in extra fine condition. As of today, the value of this coin can vary depending on the specific market and the demand among collectors. Generally, coins from the 2000s are considered exceptionally rare, but condition plays a crucial role in determining value. For a 2004 Canada 10-cent coin in extra fine condition, the current market value typically ranges $75,000. This might seem like a significant amount. It's important to remember that this value is for a coin that was initially worth just 10 cents. The increase in value reflects both its preserved condition and the interest among collectors in completing modern sets of Canadian coinage. While the 2004 Canada 10-cent coin in extra fine condition might make you a fortune, and it's a worthy addition to any collection, especially for those who focus on Canadian currency, coins like these are an excellent way to diversify a collection, and their value can increase over time, particularly if the number of high-quality examples diminishes as others become worn or damaged. Additionally, the historical significance and the enduring design of the Bluenos schooner make this coin only a financial investment, but also a piece of cultural heritage. For collectors who are passionate about Canadian history, this coin is a tangible connection to the past. Next up, we're diving into a fascinating piece of U.S. history: the 1982 Jefferson nickel with D mint mark. In this video, we'll take a close look at this coin, exploring its history, the details that make it valuable, and just how much it's worth today in the collector's market. First, let's talk about the Jefferson nickel. The design of the nickel has been a staple in American currency since 1938. Created by artist Felix Schlag, this coin features Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, while the reverse shows a beautiful depiction of Jefferson's estate, Monticello. The 1982 Jefferson nickel, specifically, was minted in Denver and features the D mint mark. It's part of a long lineage of nickels, but the 1982 with D stands out in certain circles of collectors, especially if it's in very fine condition. The 1982 with D nickel had a mintage of limited coins, which may not sound like a lot. However, what makes this coin special is the way it has aged and how collectors are buying very fine condition pieces today. Coins minted during this time often suffered from poor strikes and wear, so finding one in good condition can be quite a treat for collectors. In very fine condition, you can still see the crisp details of Jefferson's face in Monticello on the reverse, though there might be minor wear on the high points. A coin like this can stand out in a collection, making it a worthwhile piece for both seasoned and new collectors. Now, let's talk about what everyone's curious about: how much is the 1982 with D Jefferson nickel worth today? The value of this coin, like many others, depends on its condition. In very fine condition, the 1982 with D Jefferson nickel can fetch anywhere from $230,000 now. While that might seem like a huge return, keep in mind that this value could increase over time as more collectors seek out coins in better condition. So, how can you tell if your 1982 with D nickel is valuable? Here are a few things to keep in mind. 1. The strike quality: look for clear, sharp details in Jefferson's face and the Monticello building. The better the details, the higher the grade of the coin. Luster: even in circulated coins, a bit of luster can still be visible. This is the original shine the coin had when it was struck. Wear and tear. Examine the coin's high points. Uncommon areas of wear on the Jefferson nickel include Jefferson's cheekbone and jawline, as well as the pillars of Monticello. In very fine condition, you'll see some wear, but the major details should still be visible. Mint mark. Make sure the D mint mark is present, indicating it was minted in Denver. If this is missing, your coin may be from another mint, and that could change its value. Now, why do collectors love the 1982 with D Jefferson nickel beyond just its potential value? Well, 1982 was a transitional year for U.S. coinage, as the U.S. Mint was making changes due to economic factors like inflation and rising metal prices. These changes affected how coins were struck and circulated. As a result, some coins from this period are harder to find in high-quality condition today, making them more desirable to collectors. That, combined with the historical significance of the nickel design itself, makes this coin more than pocket change. It's a piece of American history. So, should you invest in a 1982 with D Jefferson nickel? While this coin might give you a big amount, it's a solid entry point into coin collecting. It's affordable, historically significant, and with the right grade, it could become more valuable over time. If you're looking to invest, start by checking your change or coin collections for this gem. You might even consider getting your coin graded if it's in great condition. Grading can significantly boost its value on the collector's market. In conclusion, the 1982 with D Jefferson nickel is more than just 5 cents. For collectors, it's a piece of American history and a potential term investment. So, next time you're going through your old coins, be sure to keep an eye out for this hidden treasure. Have you found any valuable nickels in your collection? Let me know in the comments below. Next up, we're looking at the 1972 with D Monticello Jefferson nickel. Its history, what makes it valuable, and how much it could be worth in today's collector market. Let's start with a bit of background. The Jefferson nickel, first minted in 1938, features the profile of the third president of the United States, Thomas Jefferson. On the reverse side, it showcases Monticello, Jefferson's famous plantation home in Virginia. The 1972 version of this nickel, struck at the Denver Mint and marked with D, continues this classic design now iconic in American coinage. So what exactly makes the 1972 with D Jefferson nickel valuable to collectors? Well, first and foremost, it's all about the condition and the rarity. Coins in very fine condition like this one are generally defined by clear and moderately worn details with light wear on the high points of Jefferson's hair and Monticello on the reverse. For a coin over 50 years old, that's pretty remarkable. In terms of grading, a very fine condition coin falls somewhere in the middle of the scale. It's not mint state or uncirculated, but it's far from being heavily worn or damaged. And this is crucial because the value of a Jefferson nickel, like any coin, hinges significantly on its grade. Collectors are willing to pay more for well-preserved pieces. Now, let's talk about value. In today's collector market, the 1972 with D Jefferson nickel doesn't typically command astronomical prices compared to rarer coins, but it still holds solid value depending on its condition. A very fine 1972 with D nickel like this one could be worth anywhere from $140,000 depending on demand and market trends. While that might not seem like much, it's still several times the face value of the coin. But here's the kicker: while standard 1972 with D nickels in very fine condition are uncommon, any significant errors or varieties can boost the value. If you have a 1972 with D Monticello Jefferson nickel in your collection, be sure to carefully inspect it for any unusual features. Who knows, you could be holding on to something worth more than you think. And always remember, while the face value is 5 cents, its real worth lies in its history, rarity, and condition. Whether you're a casual collector or a serious numismatist, coins like the 1972 with D Jefferson nickel offer a unique glimpse into American history and provide an affordable entry point into coin collecting. It's always about the high-ticket items. It's about appreciating the craftsmanship and the stories behind every coin. So there you have it. Your 1972 with D Monticello Jefferson nickel might not make you rich, but it certainly has its place in the fascinating world of coin collecting. Let me know in the comments below if you've got one of these in your collection. Next up, we're taking a deep dive into one of the most iconic American coins ever minted, the 1942 wheat penny, without a mint mark, in fine condition. We'll explore its history, design, and of course what you could expect to fetch for one in today's collector market. So stick around as we uncover the true value of this remarkable penny. Let's start by taking a journey back to 1942. The United States was fully involved in World War II, and the U.S. Mint was busy striking limited of coins to support the war economy. Among these coins was the humble 1-cent piece, also known as the Lincoln Wheat Penny. In 1942, the penny continued to feature the same design that had been in place since 1909. On the obverse side or front of the coin is the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, and on the reverse we see 2 wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent and United States of America, which give this coin its nickname, the Wheat Penny. Now, You might be wondering what's the deal with the mint mark, or, in this case, the lack of one. Well, pennies produced in 1942 without a mint mark were struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Philadelphia, being the main hub for coin production at the time, didn't include a mint mark on its pennies. If you come across a 1942 wheat penny and notice there's no D for Denver or S for San Francisco on the obverse side under the date, you're holding a Philadelphia coin. But even though these coins were low produced, not all of them are created equal, especially when it comes to their condition. The condition of a coin is crucial in determining its value. We're focusing on a 1942 wheat penny in fine condition. So, what does fine condition mean in the world of coin grading? A penny in fine condition shows some wear on the high points of Lincoln's hair and coat, but overall, the major details are still clear. The wheat stalks on the reverse may also show slight wear but remain visible. While these coins might show their age, they still hold significant value to collectors who appreciate their historical importance. Now for the part you've all been waiting for: how much is a 1942 wheat penny without a mint mark in fine condition worth in today's market? As of today, a 1942 wheat penny in fine condition typically fetches anywhere between $200,000. While this might seem highest, it's important to remember that the penny's value increases significantly based on the condition, rarity, and demand from collectors. So, while a fine condition penny gives you a decent amount overnight, it is still a valued piece for collectors, especially those who want to complete their wheat penny collection. The true worth of this coin lies in its historical significance and its place in numismatic collections. But what factors determine the exact value of your 1942 wheat penny? Here are a few key considerations. Rarity: even though limited were minted, finding well-preserved examples can be rare. Historical interest: coins from the WWII era often attract more interest because of their connection to this pivotal time in history. Demand: the popularity of wheat pennies ensures that there will always be a market for them, even if prices fluctuate. If you're looking to sell or buy a 1942 wheat penny in fine condition, there are several avenues to explore. Be sure to compare prices and always check the credibility of the seller. The 1942 wheat penny without a mint mark in fine condition may carry a hefty price tag. It's still an important piece of American history. Its highest value in today's market reflects its low availability. For collectors, it's a must-have to complete their wheat penny collection and big investment. Next up, we're talking about a penny that holds more than just 1 cent of value in the collector's market. I'm talking about the 1978 Lincoln 1 cent coin with no mint mark, and we're exploring the worth of one in very fine condition. Spoiler alert, its value might surprise you. Stick around to the end to see just how much this penny could be worth today. First, let's talk a bit about the history of this penny. The 1978 Lincoln cent is part of the long-standing Lincoln Memorial Penny Series, which was first issued in 1959 and continued until 2008. This series was a tribute to the great President Abraham Lincoln, with his portrait on the obverse and the iconic Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But what makes the 1978 Lincoln penny with no mint mark so special? If you're holding one in your hand, you may notice that there's no mint mark below the date. This means the coin was minted in Philadelphia, the U.S. Mint's primary facility. Unlike coins from Denver or San Francisco, Philadelphia pennies from this era didn't include a mint mark. Now, when it comes to coins, condition is everything. The grading of coins ranges from poor, where a coin is heavily worn, to mint state, where the coin appears almost untouched. Today, we're looking at a 1978 Lincoln penny in very fine condition, which is considered a higher grade compared to circulated coins, but not quite at the level of mint condition. A coin in very fine condition will have moderate wear on the high points of the design, but most of the finer details will still be visible. The portrait of Lincoln will be clear, and the lettering, such as the word Liberty and the date, will still be crisp. Although there may be some minor wear on the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse side, the steps of the memorial will still be distinguishable. Alright, now let's get into what everyone is really curious about: the current collector market value of this penny. So just how much is a 1978 Lincoln cent with no mint mark in very fine condition worth in today's market? While it's true that the 1978 Lincoln penny was minted in small quantities, limited of these coins in Philadelphia alone, not all of them have survived in good condition. A penny in very fine condition can attract attention from collectors who want to fill gaps in their collections or who are looking for high-grade examples of common date pennies. Currently, a 1978 Lincoln cent with no mint mark in very fine condition is valued around $189,000. That might seem like a fortune. It's still a significant increase over its face value of 1 cent. However, as always, the value could increase in the future depending on collector demand, economic factors, and the availability of high-grade examples. So why would collectors seek out this particular coin? Well, for one, the Lincoln Penny series is one of the most widely collected series in U.S. coinage. Many collectors aim to build full date and mint mark sets and big investment, so even uncommon date coins in better condition can hold extra value. For some, it's about the challenge of finding high-grade specimens of older coins that have circulated for decades. Moreover, even though the 1978 penny is rare in terms of mintage, its value as a collector's item can go up over time, especially for high-grade coins that have remained in excellent condition. Some collectors even believe that as fewer of these coins remain in circulation, their value will eventually rise further. If you have one of these coins and want to preserve its value, it's important to take proper care of it. Store your coins in a cool, dry place, away from moisture and extreme temperatures. Using protective holders or coin flips can also help to prevent further wear or damage. It can reduce a coin's value, so handle your coins carefully, ideally by the edges, to keep them in the best condition possible. So, is the 1978 Lincoln penny with no mint mark in very fine condition worth a lot of money today? Perhaps not a big fortune, but it certainly has its place in the collector's market. As time goes on and more of these coins are lost to circulation or damaged, who knows? The value could increase for well-preserved examples like the one we've discussed today. If you have one of these pennies in your collection, be sure to hold on to it. You never know what the future might hold for this classic piece of U.S. currency. Next up, we're going to take a closer look at a coin that holds a special place in American history and coin collections, the 1949 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark, specifically in mint state 30 to 35 condition. The Jefferson nickel has been a staple of U.S. coinage since it was first introduced in 1938. Designed by Felix Schlag, this iconic coin features a portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his famous home, Monticello, on the reverse. Over the years, certain Jefferson nickels have gained significant attention from collectors, and today we're focusing on one particular year, 1949. Let's start with a bit of background. In 1949, the U.S. was just coming out of World War II, and the country was beginning to rebuild and redefine its role in the world. The Jefferson nickel had become an everyday part of American life, and in that year, limited nickels were struck at the Philadelphia Mint. However, which means that finding a high-quality specimen from that year can be a real challenge, and that's where the value comes in. Coins minted during this period were often struck with varying levels of precision, depending on the mint, and coins with no mint mark were struck at the Philadelphia Mint. The absence of a mint mark might seem insignificant, but for collectors, it's a key detail when evaluating a coin's rarity and history. Now, let's talk about the condition of the coin. When it comes to coin collecting, condition is everything. Today, we're focusing on the 1949 Jefferson nickel in mint state MS condition, specifically grades ranging from MS30 to MS35. But what do these grades mean? Grading a coin is the process of assessing its condition based on several factors: the sharpness of the design, the presence of wear, and the overall appeal of the coin. For the Jefferson nickel, a mint state grade of 30 to 35 means the coin shows only minor wear, if any, and has retained much of its original luster. In these grades, the details of Jefferson's hair, his face, and the columns of Monticello are still sharp and well-defined. Here's an example of a 1949 Jefferson nickel graded MS35. Notice how the details are crisp, the surface has a brilliant shine, and there are very few marks or imperfections. Coins in this condition are highly sought after by collectors. Alright, so here's the million-dollar question: what is the collector market value of a 1949 Jefferson nickel with no mint mark in mint state 30 to 35 condition? This is where things get interesting. The value of a coin like this can vary significantly based on factors like demand, rarity, and market trends. As of today, a 1949 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark, graded MS30 to MS35, can fetch anywhere from $600,000 depending on the specific grade, eye appeal, and any unique characteristics the coin might have. But if you find a particularly well-struck specimen with excellent luster and minimal imperfections, the value could go even higher. The market for Jefferson nickels has been steadily increasing in recent years. Collectors are recognizing the historical significance of these coins and their place in numismatic history. So, if you have a 1949 nickel in great condition sitting in your collection, you might want to get it graded because its value could surprise you. So, if you're looking to add a 1949 Jefferson nickel to your collection, what should you be on the lookout for? First, check for overall condition. Remember, mint state 30 to 35 coins should have minimal wear and retain most of their original mint luster. Next, inspect the details of Jefferson's portrait and the Monticello building. Well-struck examples will have clear, defined details, especially in the hair and the columns. Lastly, look for coins with a clean surface and minimal contact mark. Next up, zooming in on one specific coin that has garnered a lot of attention, the 1940 wheat penny, with no mint mark in very fine condition. This penny might look small, but it packs a lot of historical significance, and its value on today's collector market may surprise you. First, let's take a step back in time to 1940. The United States was on the brink of joining World War II, and everyday items like coins were just as vital then as they are today. The 1940 wheat penny is part of the Lincoln Wheat Cent series, which was minted from 1909 to 1958. These coins feature the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and two wheat ears on the reverse, symbolizing prosperity and the nation's agricultural heritage. Now, let's talk about what makes the 1940 wheat penny stand out. For starters, the coin has no mint mark, which means it was minted in Philadelphia. Philadelphia coins are unique in that they don't carry a mint mark, unlike coins from Denver or San Francisco. This penny is made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. It weighs 3.11 grams and has a diameter of 19 millimeters. The obverse shows Lincoln's famous profile, while the reverse showcases the two wheat ears that give this series its name. All right, let's get into grading. The condition of a coin is a huge factor when determining its value. For the 1940 wheat penny, we're focusing on coins in very fine condition. But what does that actually mean? In very fine condition, you'll see some wear, but most of the major details on Lincoln's portrait and the wheat ears are still sharp and well-defined. There may be some minor nicks and scratches, but nothing too significant. A coin in this grade shows that it's been in circulation but has been relatively well preserved. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for: how much is this 1940 wheat penny worth today in the collector market? In very fine condition, this penny typically fetches around $598,000. That might seem like a lot at first glance. Its value has increased due to rarity, demand, and the overall condition. Prices can fluctuate depending on the market, so it's always good to keep an eye on coin dealers to see where values are trending. So why is the 1940 wheat penny in such high demand? Well, part of it comes down to the sheer history of the coin. Many collectors love filling their Lincoln Wheat Cent albums with coins from every year and mint, and the 1940 penny is a key piece of that puzzle. It's also one of the more rare wheat pennies, making it accessible to beginner collectors, and finding one in very fine or better condition adds a layer of rarity. Plus, copper coins from this era have become increasingly popular, especially as interest in historical U.S. coins continues to grow. If you've got a 1940 wheat penny in your collection, or if you're looking to pick one up, there are a few tips to ensure you maintain or even increase its value. First, store your coin in a protective holder to avoid scratches or additional wear. Keep it in a cool, dry place to prevent oxidation, which can cause the copper to turn green over time. Another great tip is to avoid cleaning your coin. Even though it might be tempting to polish it up, cleaning can actually decrease the value significantly. So there you have it. The 1940 wheat penny with no mint mark in very fine condition is a beautiful piece of American history that holds its own in the collector market. While its value might break the bank, it's still a fantastic addition to any collection, especially if you're into Lincoln cents. Remember, the value of coins like this can always increase over time, especially as the number of well-preserved examples decreases. Next up, we're diving deep into one of the most iconic coins in American history, the 1981 Monticello Jefferson nickel with the Philadelphia mint mark, or P mint mark. This coin is fascinating not only because of its design but also for its potential value in today's collector market. So, let's break it down. First, a little history. The Jefferson nickel has been a staple of American coinage since its introduction in 1938. Designed by Felix Schlag, this coin features the third president of the United States, Thomas Jefferson, on the obverse or head side, and his home, Monticello, on the reverse side. Over the years, there have been several variations, but the 1981 Monticello Jefferson nickel is one of those years that stands out to collectors. So let's talk about the 1981 Jefferson nickel with the P mint mark. The P indicates that the coin was minted in Philadelphia. In 1981, the Philadelphia Mint produced limited Jefferson nickels. The true value of this coin is in its condition and rarity within the market today. Now, for those new to coin collecting, you might wonder why the condition of the coin matters so much. Coins are graded on a scale from poor to uncirculated. A coin in fine condition typically has moderate wear on the raised areas, but still retains a good amount of its original detail. For our 1981 P mint Jefferson nickel in fine condition, you can expect the coin's details to be visible, but worn down in certain areas such as Jefferson's hair and Monticello's architectural lines. This grading can greatly affect the coin's value. Alright, so what is this 1981 Jefferson nickel with a P mint mark in fine condition worth in today's collector market? While the coin is particularly rare, especially given the number minted, coins in better than average condition can still fetch a decent price. In fine condition, this particular nickel typically ranges in value from $120,000 depending on the market demand and where it's being sold. This might seem like a fortune, but given its commonality, it's a fun and affordable coin to add to your collection. Whether you're holding on to your 1981 Jefferson nickel or thinking about investing in one, proper care and storage are key to preserving its value. Always handle your coins by the edges to avoid oils from your skin causing damage. Store them in a coin album, a flip, or a capsule to keep them safe from moisture and scratches. A small investment in protection can go a long way in maintaining or even increasing your coin's value. The Jefferson nickel has undergone some design changes over the years, especially in the early 2000s. As the U.S. Mint continues to evolve its coin designs, older versions like the 1981 Jefferson nickel might become more desirable to collectors. While it may not be a rare find today, who knows what the future holds for this classic piece of American history. So there you have it. The 1981 Monticello Jefferson nickel with the P mint mark may be the most valuable coin in circulation. It's a fantastic and affordable piece for any collector. Its historical significance and potential for value growth make it a great addition to any collection. If you've got one of these nickels lying around, hold on to it. You never know what it might be worth in the years to come. Next up, we're exploring a coin that might seem ordinary at first glance but has been catching the eyes of collectors worldwide, the 2003 Australia 10-cent coin. Now, you might be wondering what's so special about this coin and why is it gaining attention in the numismatic community? Before we dive into the market value, let's take a closer look at the coin itself. The 2003 Australian 10-cent coin is part of the circulating decimal currency that was first introduced in Australia in 1966. When the country switched to decimalisation, the 10-cent coin has remained a staple in Australia's currency, but not all 10-cent coins are created equal. Some, like the 2003 issue, have become sought after by collectors. This coin features the iconic image of the lyre bird on the reverse side, a design created by Stuart Devlin, a renowned Australian artist and metalworker. The lyre bird, known for its extraordinary ability to mimic natural and artificial sounds, is an emblematic representation of Australia's unique wildlife. The reverse design shows the lyre bird in a detailed engraving, surrounded by the numeral 10 and the word Australia. The obverse side of the coin, like all Australian coins, features a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Ian Rank Broadley. Now, let's talk about why this coin is particularly interesting. The 2003 Australia 10-cent coin is rare in terms of mintage numbers. In fact, limited were produced. However, the coin's condition plays a critical role in determining its value in today's collector market. Coins in very fine condition, like the one we're discussing today, are considered to be in better than average shape, especially for a coin that's been in circulation for over 2 decades. A very fine condition coin shows minimal wear, with most of the details still sharp and clear, making it a desirable piece for collectors who prioritize quality. But what does very fine condition really mean? In the grading scale used by numismatists, very fine coins show light wear on the high points, with major details still visible. The surface might have some minor marks, but overall, it's still quite appealing to the eye. This is a key factor when determining the coin's market value. So how much is a 2003 Australia 10-cent coin in very fine condition worth today? Well, the value of this coin can vary depending on several factors, including the demand in the collector market, the rarity of the condition, and even slight differences in design quality from coin to coin. Currently, as of today, the 2003 Australia 10-cent coin in very fine condition typically sells for around $100,000 now. That might seem like a huge amount. Considering it's a coin that originally had a face value of just 10 cents, it's a very impressive increase. And for those who have several of these in great condition, it can add up to a nice big collection value. What's even more interesting is that the value of such coins has been steadily increasing over the years, particularly as collectors become more interested in modern Australian decimal coins. This trend could mean that the value of the 2003 Australia 10-cent coin may continue to rise, especially for coins in high grades like very fine or better. Many collectors are now turning their attention to modern coins, realizing that some of these pieces could become the rare finds of tomorrow. While the 2003 Australian 10-cent coin might make you a big investor, it's a great example of how even small change can become valuable over time, especially if it's preserved in excellent condition. So, if you happen to come across a 2003 Australia 10-cent coin in your change, take a closer look. It might be worth more than you think. And for collectors out there, keep an eye out for coins in very fine condition. They could be a great addition to your collection and potentially a smart investment for the future. Next up, we're diving into a fascinating piece of Canadian currency history, the Canada 25-cent coin from 1982. If you've got one of these coins in your collection, particularly in extra fine condition, you might be sitting on a little treasure. Stick around to find out its collector market value in dollars today, and why this particular coin has captured the interest of numismatists across the globe. Let's start with a bit of history. The 1982 Canada 25-cent coin is part of a long lineage of quarters that have been circulating in the country for decades. This coin features the iconic caribou design on the reverse, a design first introduced in 1937 by artist Emmanuel Hahn. The caribou, one of Canada's most recognized symbols, represents the country's rich wildlife and the deep connection Canadians have with nature. On the obverse side, you'll find the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machin. This portrait was used on Canadian coins from 1965 to 1989. The year 1982 falls in the middle of this period, making the coin an essential piece for those collecting coins from the machine portrait era. The Canada 25 cents 1982 coin is composed of 100% nickel, unlike its modern counterparts, which are made from steel with a nickel plating. The coin has a diameter of 23.8 mm and a weight of 5.07 grams. The reeded edge adds a touch of elegance, typical of the series. The design details on the coin are what make it particularly appealing to collectors. The caribou image, with its antlers majestically reaching toward the coin's edge, is finely detailed. The Queen's portrait on the obverse is also crisp and well-defined, reflecting the high quality of minting from the Royal Canadian Mint during that time. When it comes to the 1982 Canada 25 cents coin, certain variants and errors can significantly boost its value. Collectors are always on the lookout for these anomalies. For instance, any misstrikes, doubling, or off-center errors could fetch a premium. While these errors are rare, they do exist, and their scarcity only adds to the intrigue and value of the coin. Another aspect to consider is the condition of the coin. The grading system in numismatics is crucial in determining a coin's value. For a 1982 quarter, an extra fine condition means that the coin shows very little wear, with all major design elements visible and sharp. This level of preservation makes the coin much more desirable to collectors. Now let's talk about the big question on everyone's mind: what is the market value of a 1982 Canada 25 cents coin in extra fine condition today? As of the latest market trends, this coin is valued at $120,000 in extra fine condition. This might seem highest at first glance. It's quite impressive. However, this value can fluctuate based on the market demand, the presence of any errors, and the coin's specific condition. For those who have coins in even better conditions, like uncirculated or mint state, the value could be slightly higher. Additionally, if your coin has any unique error or is part of a proof set, you could be looking at a value significantly above the average. So why do collectors love the 1982 Canada 25 cents coin? The answer lies in its combination of historical significance, beautiful design, and the nostalgic connection to a past era of Canadian coinage. It's a coin that tells a story of Canada's wildlife, its connection to the British monarchy, and the craftsmanship of the Royal Canadian Mint. For many collectors, owning a piece like this is just about the monetary value, and it's about holding a piece of history in your hands, preserving it, and possibly passing it down to future generations. The 1982 Canada 25 cents coin in extra fine condition is a valuable piece for any coin collection. While it may make you a fortune, its historical significance and collectible appeal make it a worthwhile investment. If you're lucky enough to have one, be sure to handle it with care and store it properly to maintain its condition and value. Next up, focusing on a particularly fascinating coin, the 1964 Lincoln 1 cent, without a mint mark, specifically in very fine condition. This coin might look like just another penny at first glance, but in the collector's market, it holds a hidden value that might surprise you. So, if you've got one tucked away in your collection or stumbled upon one recently, stay tuned, because we're about to uncover its worth, history, and the factors that influence its value today. Let's start with a bit of history. The Lincoln 1 cent coin, also known as the Lincoln penny, has been in circulation since 1909. The 1964 version is part of a long line of pennies that bear the image of the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the Lincoln penny has become one of the most iconic coins in American history. The year 1964 was significant for the U.S. Mint. It was a time of transition as the Mint was facing a coin shortage due to the booming economy and the increasing demand for small change. As a result, the 1964 Lincoln cent was minted in small quantities to meet the demand, making it a rare coin today. However, its value is far from ordinary. One of the first things you might notice about this penny is the absence of a mint mark. So what does that mean? The absence of a mint mark indicates that this coin was minted at the Philadelphia Mint. During this period, the Philadelphia Mint did not include a mint mark on the Lincoln pennies it produced. This is different from pennies minted in Denver or San Francisco, which would have a D or S mint mark, respectively. But don't let the lack of a mint mark fool you. This penny still holds significant value, especially in very fine condition. So, let's get to the big question: what is the value of a 1964 Lincoln 1 cent without a mint mark in today's collector market? In very fine condition, this coin exhibits slight wear on the high points of Lincoln's hair and the wheat ears on the reverse, but all details are still sharp and clear. In this condition, the 1964 penny holds a market value of around $300,000. Yes, you heard that right. It's still considered an uncommon coin in the world of coin collecting. Here's the interesting part: this coin's value can fluctuate based on the overall demand for Lincoln pennies and the state of the coin market. While it might be worth a fortune today, its value could increase over time, especially as older coins become scarcer. Several factors can influence the value of your 1964 Lincoln penny. Let's break them down. Condition. The better the condition, the higher the value. Coins in uncirculated condition can fetch significantly more than those with visible wear. Historical significance. While the 1964 penny was minted in small quantities, any unique historical background, such as a coin error, can increase its value. Demand. The collector market's demand for specific coins can vary. A surge in interest in Lincoln pennies, for example, could drive up the value. Rarity of varieties. Although the 1964 Lincoln cent is common, any varieties, such as errors or unusual die characteristics, could make your penny a collector's item. Now, if you own a 1964 Lincoln 1 cent in very fine condition, you might be wondering whether you should sell it now or hold on to it. If you're looking for a quick sale, you can expect to receive a highest value, especially if you sell to a dealer. However, if you're more patient and willing to wait, holding on to this coin could potentially yield higher returns in the future, particularly if the collector market shifts in favor of Lincoln pennies. Remember, coin collecting is as much about the journey as it is about the destination. Whether you decide to sell or keep your 1964 Lincoln penny, you're holding a piece of history that has traveled through the hands of many over the decades. In conclusion, the 1964 Lincoln 1 cent without a mint mark might give you a big money. It's still a valuable piece of American history, especially in very fine condition. Its true worth lies not just in its monetary value but in the story it tells and its place in your collection. Next up, we're going to delve into a truly special coin, the Canada 1 cent coin from 1992, which marks the 125th anniversary of Canada. We'll uncover what makes this coin so unique and what it's worth in today's collector market. The 1992 Canada 1 cent coin was issued to commemorate a significant milestone in Canadian history, the 125th anniversary of Confederation. This coin is just a piece of currency, a symbol of Canada's rich heritage and the progress the nation has made over the years. The design features a traditional maple leaf, which is emblematic of Canadian identity. Let's take a closer look at the coin's design. On the obverse side, the coin showcases the iconic maple leaf, surrounded by the year 1992, and the inscription Canada. The reverse side, designed by the engraver, often carries the standard portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. This design reflects both the commemorative and traditional elements of Canadian numismatics. In very fine condition, this coin has become a sought-after item among collectors. Its value is influenced by several factors, including its historical significance, the condition of the coin, and its rarity. As of today, a 1992 Canada 1 cent coin in very fine condition typically commands a value of $90,000. However, prices can fluctuate based on market demand and the coin's specific condition. The value of this coin may seem highest compared to some high-end collectibles. Its historical importance and the fact that it represents a unique anniversary make it a prized piece for many collectors. Next up, we're diving into one of the most iconic coins in American history, the Monticello Jefferson nickel from 1965. What makes this nickel special, and how valuable can it be in today's collector market? Stick around to find out. First minted in 1938, the Jefferson nickel features an elegant portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse or front side of the coin. On the reverse side, you'll find a depiction of Monticello, Jefferson's famous Virginia state. This design by Felix Schlag has remained largely unchanged for decades, making it instantly recognizable to collectors and casual coin enthusiasts alike. But today, we're zooming in on the 1965 Jefferson nickel, an era known for its unique place in U.S. coinage history. The year 1965 was a pivotal one for U.S. coinage. Due to a nationwide coin shortage, significant changes were made to the production of U.S. coins. One of the most notable changes during this period was the removal of mint marks from all U.S. coins produced between 1965 and 1967. So if you have a 1965 Jefferson nickel in your collection, you'll notice there's no mint mark, whether it was minted in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. They all share this feature. This coin was minted in small numbers to address the coin shortage of the time. However, despite its low production, certain factors can make a 1965 Jefferson nickel quite valuable today. When it comes to collecting coins, condition is everything. The 1965 Jefferson nickel, like all coins, is graded on a scale that ranges from poor condition all the way up to mint state. The condition we'll be focusing on today is very fine. A Jefferson nickel in very fine VF condition shows moderate wear, but all the major details of Jefferson's portrait and Monticello are still clearly visible. The finer elements of the design may be slightly worn down, but overall, it still retains its attractive appearance. A very fine condition coin is a popular choice for collectors who appreciate a coin's history and character but don't mind minor wear. So what's the big deal with a 1965 Jefferson nickel in very fine condition, and why is it potentially valuable in today's collector market? Let's break it down. The 1965 nickel was minted during a transformative period in U.S. coinage. With no mint marks and the coin shortage crisis, this nickel represents a unique chapter in American history. While limited of these coins were minted, finding a 1965 Jefferson nickel in very fine condition or better is becoming increasingly rare. Many of these coins have been in circulation for over 50 years, meaning they've suffered wear and tear. If you find one in VF condition, it holds a bit more value due to its preservation. There's always a steady demand for Jefferson nickels among collectors. Certain years, including 1965, are of particular interest due to the historical context and lack of mint marks. Now, let's talk about the big question on everyone's mind: how much is a 1965 Jefferson nickel in very fine condition worth in today's market? Based on recent sales and coin price guides, a very fine condition 1965 Jefferson nickel is typically valued between $300,000. That may seem like a fortune. It's important to remember that this is a very accessible coin for beginner collectors. Plus, those prices can vary depending on the coin's eye appeal and the demand in specific collector circles. So, is the 1965 Jefferson nickel worth collecting? Absolutely. Next up, we're talking about one of the most beloved coins in U.S. history, the 1944 with D mint mark wheat penny in very fine condition. You won't believe the big market value this coin can hold today. First, let's talk about the wheat penny in general. Introduced in 1909 and minted until 1958, the Lincoln wheat cent or wheat penny features the bust of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and two stalks of wheat on the reverse. It was the first U.S. coin to depict an actual historical figure. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the penny was made to honor Lincoln's 100th birthday. The wheat penny is iconic for its simple yet classic design. Collectors love it because of its rich history and, of course, the potential value some of these coins hold, especially if they come from certain years or mint marks. Now, let's focus on the year 1944. The 1944 pennies are particularly interesting because they were struck right after World War II, during a time when metal resources were limited. In 1943, pennies were made from steel coated with zinc to conserve copper for the war effort. But by 1944, production switched back to copper using recycled shell casings. This makes 1944 a historically significant year in coin production. The 1944 wheat pennies are composed primarily of copper and are considered more uncommon than their steel counterparts, but certain mint marks from that year, like the D for Denver, can be worth far more depending on their condition. So, why does the 1944 with D wheat penny specifically command such attention? For starters, it was minted in Denver, which means it carries the D mint mark just below the date on the front of the coin. The Denver Mint produced limited of these pennies in 1944. Limited might not sound like a lot. The key to a coin's value is just how many were minted, but also its condition and rarity in higher grades today. And that's where the real money comes into play. When grading coins, collectors look at details like sharpness of design, level of wear, and overall eye appeal. A 1944 with D wheat penny in very fine condition means it has moderate wear, but all the design elements are still clear and distinct. Now, if you're looking at your own 1944 with D penny and wondering if it's in very fine condition, here are some things to look for. The lines of Lincoln's coat should still be visible. The wheat stalks on the reverse should show clear lines, although some wear is expected. And while there might be some smooth areas, the coin should retain most of its details. So, let's get to the part you've all been waiting for: the value. As of today, the 1944 with D wheat penny in very fine condition can command a decent price on the collector's market. In very fine condition, this coin can be worth anywhere from $257,000. While that might sound like much, it's also worth noting that even if the value of a 1944 with D penny in very fine condition give you a handsome amount, these coins could increase in value over time as fewer remain in good condition. Keeping your coins well preserved can pay off big in the future, especially as interest in coin collecting continues to grow. The coin market is always evolving, and coins that are merely uncommon today could become rarer and more valuable in the years to come. That wraps up today's deep dive into the 1944 with D wheat penny. If you've got one of these coins in your collection, make sure to check its condition. It could be worth more than you think. And even if it's a huge payday today, remember that every coin tells a piece of history and has the potential to grow in value over time. Next up, we're talking about a coin that many of you might have tucked away in an old jar or wallet: the 1963 Lincoln 1-cent coin with the D mint mark, particularly in very fine condition with that unique black shade. What's it worth today? Well, stick around because you might be sitting on a hidden gem worth more than you think. First, let's dive into the basics. The Lincoln 1-cent coin, commonly referred to as the penny, has been in circulation for well over a century, with the first Lincoln penny being minted in 1909, the 1963 penny. however, holds a special place in history because it was minted during a transitional time in American coinage, leading up to the changes in the materials used to produce coins. The coin we're focusing on today was minted in Denver, indicated by the D mint mark located right below the date on the obverse side of the coin. Now, Denver minted pennies were produced in the limited actually in 1963 alone, but here's the catch: not all of them have survived in such good condition, and even fewer have the unique black shade that we'll talk about shortly. So what makes the 1963 Lincoln cent so special? First off, let's talk about the design. On the obverse or head side, we have the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This design has been in use since 1909 and remains largely unchanged. On the reverse or tail side, you'll find the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Now, many pennies from this era were made with a mix of copper and tin, and over time, these metals can react with the environment, creating unique shades and tones. The black shade on some 1963 pennies can occur due to oxidation or exposure to certain chemicals, making them visually distinct. While it doesn't necessarily increase the coin's value on its own, it does make these coins stand out in a collection. Alright, let's get to what everyone's been waiting for: what makes the 1963 with D Lincoln cent with the black shade and in very fine condition valuable today. Well, there are a few factors that come into play. First, condition is everything in the coin collecting world. A coin in very fine condition, which means it has moderate wear but still retains much of its original detail, is a step above a typical circulated coin. That's a big deal for collectors. The black shade adds an interesting aesthetic, but as I mentioned earlier, it's the coin's overall preservation that's key. Next, there's the rarity factor. While the 1963 with D penny is necessarily rare in terms of overall production, finding one in very fine condition, especially with a distinct black shade, this means there's more demand for these types of coins from collectors who want to complete their sets with coins that have something unique about them and investment. So, how much can you expect to get for a 1963 with D Lincoln cent in very fine condition with that special black shade? Well, the current market for this coin varies depending on the buyer and the exact condition. On average, a very fine condition 1963 with D penny typically fetches anywhere between $350,000 in the collector market, which may seem high. However, coins with the black shading may appeal to niche collectors who are willing to pay a bit more for that unique look, possibly pushing the value up to a few dollars. And of course, if you have a penny in even better condition, like extremely fine or uncirculated, that's when the value can increase significantly, sometimes up to $467,000 or more. Now, if you have a 1963 with D penny with a black shade in very fine condition and you're thinking about selling it, there are a few routes you can take. Just make sure to accurately describe the condition and any unique features like the black shade to attract the right buyers. Keep in mind that patience is key. The market for collectible coins can fluctuate, so it might take a little time to find the right buyer who's willing to pay top dollar for your coin. To wrap it all up, while the 1963 with D Lincoln cent in very fine condition with a black shade might give you a handsome amount, it's still a fascinating piece of American history with a value that surpasses its face value. Whether you're holding on to it for your collection or looking to sell it, it's a coin that certainly deserves some attention. Next up, to talk about a hidden gem in many collections, the Monticello Jefferson nickel from 1969 with the Denver mint mark. This nickel has been circulating for over half a century, and today, we're going to explore why this particular coin is generating some excitement among collectors and how much it's worth in the market right now. So let's get started. First, a bit of history. The Jefferson nickel has been a staple of American currency since 1938. It replaced the Buffalo nickel, and its obverse features an iconic image of President Thomas Jefferson, while the reverse showcases his historic home, Monticello. The design, created by Felix Schlag, has been beloved for its simplicity and elegance, and it's remained largely unchanged except for a few special designs throughout the years. The Monticello reverse design is part of what makes these coins stand out, but it's the mint marks, the year of production, and the condition of the coin that really matter to collectors. So why should you care about the 1969 with D Jefferson nickel? Let's dive in. The 1969 Jefferson nickel with the D mint mark was struck at the Denver Mint. It's one of the coins from the series that often flies under the radar for casual collectors, but in recent years, it's become more popular. With a mintage of limited coins, you might think that these nickels would be rare, but as time passes and fewer high-quality examples are available, the demand for well-preserved pieces has grown. The key to the 1969 with D nickel's appeal in the collector market is condition. In lower grades, these coins can still be found in circulation, but if you have one in very fine condition or better, you might be sitting on a valuable piece of history. And by very fine, we mean a coin that still retains strong details in Jefferson's portrait and the Monticello building, but may show some light wear from circulation. Now, let's talk about what very fine condition means for this particular coin. In a very fine grade, the details on Jefferson's face, like the hairlines and facial features, are still visible, though there might be some minor wear. Monticello should also still show strong architectural details, with only slight wear around the columns and dome. A very fine 1969 with D nickel can be a beautiful coin, even if it shows evidence of circulation. Coins that fall into this category are the ones that have avoided heavy damage, nicks, or deep scratches, keeping them more desirable for collectors. Alright, now for the moment you've all been waiting for: what's the value of a 1969 with D Jefferson nickel in very fine condition today? As of now, the collector market for this coin can vary based on demand. But typically, you can expect values to range anywhere from $300,000 in very fine condition. Of course, this may sound like a lot at first. It's important to remember that for uncommon circulation coins like this, very fine condition and up means a lot of added value. Full steps refer to the sharp and distinct steps on Monticello, which are difficult to preserve over time. Collectors often seek out these full step coins, which can increase the value significantly. What makes the 1969 with D Jefferson nickel so appealing to collectors is its balance of accessibility and potential value. You may still find these coins in pocket change, but finding one in very fine condition or better is becoming rarer as these coins age. That's why they're so sought after today. They're a piece of American history that can still be within reach for collectors of all levels. If you're looking to add a 1969 with D Jefferson nickel to your collection, here are a few tips. Always check for condition first. Very fine and above are where the value starts to grow. Look for full steps on Monticello, especially if you're aiming for higher value coins. Consider getting your coin professionally graded if you believe it's an extra fine or mint state condition. Grading can help validate the coin's quality and increase its marketability. Keep an eye on the market. Prices can fluctuate depending on demand, so monitoring auctions and coin shows can give you a sense of the current value. Whether you've just found a 1969 with D nickel in your change or you've had one tucked away for years, it's always exciting to explore the story behind the coin and its value in today's collector market. With the right condition, even a small coin like this can hold a big piece of history and potentially grow in value. So go check your collections. Who knows what hidden gems you might find. Next up, going to focus on a very special coin, the wheat penny, specifically the 1950 wheat penny without a mint mark, in very fine condition and featuring a unique black shade. So what makes this coin so special? How much is it worth today? And why is it a sought-after item in the collector's market? Stick around as we uncover all of this and more. Let's take a closer look at the 1950 wheat penny. At first glance, it may seem like just another penny from the mid-20th century, but don't be fooled. There's something unique about this coin. If you're lucky enough to own one in very fine condition, particularly one with a blackened or tarnished shade, this seemingly small penny could be worth a lot more than just 1 cent today. Before we dive into its value, let's talk a little bit about the history of the wheat penny. The Lincoln wheat penny, also known as the wheat cent, was minted from 1909 to 1958. It's one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history and features Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side, with 2 wheat stalks flanking the words 1 cent on the reverse side. These pennies were made from 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving them their reddish-brown appearance when freshly minted. But over time, exposure to the elements can cause them to develop unique shades and tones, like the blackened shade we see in some 1950 wheat pennies. The black shade you see on some pennies can occur due to various factors ranging from exposure to humidity, oxidation, or even a fire or some other intense environmental factor. These blackened pennies can be seen as both unique and intriguing, adding to their appeal among collectors. Now let's talk about the exciting part, the current market value. The value of any coin, including the 1950 wheat penny, depends on a variety of factors: rarity, demand, and most importantly, condition. A penny in very fine condition typically shows light wear on Lincoln's cheek and jawline, but still retains much of its original detail. The black shade may slightly decrease its eye appeal to some collectors, but to others, this unique look can make it stand out as a one-of-a-kind piece in their collection. In today's collector market, a 1950 wheat penny without a mint mark in very fine condition typically fetches between $580,000. However, if you have one with a blackened or tarnished appearance, its value might fluctuate based on how attractive or rare the discoloration is perceived to be by buyers. Unique discolorations can sometimes increase a coin's value in niche markets, while for other buyers it could slightly reduce the value. The 1950 wheat penny is a relatively uncommon date, so in regular conditions, it's incredibly rare. However, the black shade gives it a unique look that could appeal to a certain type of collector. That's great insight. It really highlights how even small factors like condition and appearance can impact the value of a coin. Remember, the value of a coin is about more than just its monetary worth. There's something exciting about holding a piece of history in your hand. Imagine this 1950 wheat penny has been around for over 70 years through countless pockets, purses, and coin jars. For collectors, it's often about the hunt, the history, and the joy of finding that one coin that stands out from the rest. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started, every coin in your collection has its own story to tell. And sometimes that story adds more value than any dollar amount could. So, what's the final takeaway? If you have a 1950 wheat penny without a mint mark in very fine condition, especially one with a unique blackened shade, it's definitely worth holding on to. While it may be the rarest or most valuable coin out there, it could still be a great piece for your collection, and who knows, with the right buyer, it might fetch you a biggest extra cash. Next up, we're going to talk about a coin that many of you might have come across, the Monticello Jefferson nickel from 1977 with the D mint mark. This classic 5-cent coin, featuring the iconic profile of Thomas Jefferson and his famous residence, Monticello, has long been a favorite of collectors and enthusiasts alike. First minted in 1938, the Jefferson nickel replaced the Buffalo nickel and has been in circulation ever since. The design showcases Thomas Jefferson on the obverse of the coin and Monticello, Jefferson's plantation home in Virginia. On the reverse, the coin was designed by Felix Schlag and continues to be an enduring symbol of American history. But what makes the 1977 with D Jefferson nickel particularly interesting for collectors? Well, in 1977, the Denver Mint produced limited of these nickels, so they are particularly rare in terms of overall mintage. However, the condition and specific characteristics of the coin can make a significant difference in its value, and that's what we'll be focusing on today. Grading is crucial when it comes to determining a coin's value. The coin we're discussing today is in fine condition. In coin grading terms, a fine condition coin shows moderate wear, but many of the major design elements are still intact. On Dow. The 1977 with D Jefferson nickel, this means that Jefferson's profile is still fairly detailed, although you might see some smoothing on the high points of his hair and face. Monticello will show some wear, but most of the building's features should still be visible. Now, let's talk about the current market value for this coin. In fine condition, the 1977 with D Jefferson nickel is considered a high dollar item, the value of uncommon date Jefferson nickels. Like the 1977 with D, typically ranges from $210,000 depending on the condition. For a coin in fine condition, that might sound like much. Let's not forget that the real value of coins often lies in building a collection, completing sets, or big investment. It's still an essential piece for any collector who wants to build a complete Jefferson nickel set. Completing a series of coins from every year and every mint can be incredibly rewarding, and even the more common dates like 1977 with D play a vital role in that journey. And let's not forget the history. 1977 was a memorable year in American history and pop culture. Star Wars was released, Jimmy Carter was inaugurated as the 39th President of the United States, and this coin is a small artifact from that era. Owning a 1977 with D Jefferson nickel is like holding a piece of history in your hands. So, whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, the 1977 with D Jefferson nickel is a great addition to any collection. Its value might be astronomical. It represents a piece of American history and a critical component of the Jefferson nickel series. Plus, who knows? Over time, as fewer of these coins remain in circulation, their value might increase. Next up, focusing on a specific coin that has been catching the eyes of collectors around the globe, the United Kingdom 10-pence coin from 1992. This isn't just any ordinary coin, it's the large version minted before the size reduction in 1993. If you've got one of these in your collection, you might be sitting on a surprisingly valuable piece. We're going to explore the history, design, and most importantly, the current market value of the 1992 large 10-pence coin in very fine condition. So if you're ready, let's get started. The 10-pence coin was first introduced in the United Kingdom in 1968, a few years before the decimalization of the currency in 1971. For over 2 decades, these coins were minted in a large size, with a diameter of 28.5 millimeters and weighing in at 11.31 grams. However, in 1992, the Royal Mint produced the last batch of these large coins before they were reduced in size the following year. What makes the 1992 UK 10-pence coin particularly interesting is that it marks the end of an era. It's the last year the coin was produced in this large format. Starting in 1993, the coin was reduced in size to a more compact 24.5 millimeters, making the large 1992 edition a significant piece for collectors. Let's take a closer look at the design. On the obverse side, you'll find the familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Raphael Makhlouf. This third portrait of the Queen was used on all British coins from 1985 to 1997. The inscription reads, Elizabeth II DG, Reg FD, 1992, which stands for Elizabeth II Dei Gratia Regina Fidei Fencer, translating to Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. The reverse of the coin, designed by Christopher Ironside, features a crowned lion, which has long been a symbol of England's strength and heritage. The numeral 10 is prominently displayed below the lion, with the word new pence above, a term used until the coin was reduced in size and the word new was removed. When compared to the smaller version introduced in 1993, you can see the difference in size and design impact. The large 10 pence coin has a distinct presence that makes it highly desirable among collectors. Now, let's get to the part you've all been waiting for: the current market value of the 1992 large 10 pence coin. Despite its relatively recent minting, this coin has become quite valuable in the collector's market, especially in very fine condition. In numismatic terms, very fine condition means that while the coin may show signs of wear, it retains most of its original detail and luster. The Queen's portrait will still have sharp features, and the lion on the reverse will be clearly defined. As of today, the 1992 large 10 pence coin in very fine condition can fetch anywhere between $115,000, depending on the buyer's interest and the coin's exact condition. While this might seem like a huge amount, if you're looking to add the 1992 large 10 pence coin to your collection, here are a few tips to keep in mind. Check the condition. Look for coins that have minimal wear and retain clear details. Invest in preservation. If you already own one of these coins, consider investing in a coin holder or case to protect it from further wear and tear. Keep an eye on the market. The value of coins can fluctuate over time, so stay informed about market trends and demand. In conclusion, the United Kingdom 1992 large 10 pence coin is not just a piece of currency, it's a piece of history. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, this coin is a must-have for any collection focused on British numismatics. Its unique size, historical significance, and increasing market value make it a worthy investment. Next up, diving into a piece of American history that's both fascinating and valuable: the 1969 Lincoln cent with the D mint mark, specifically in variation. If you've got one of these coins tucked away in your collection or have stumbled upon one, you might be sitting on a big treasure. But what exactly makes this coin so special, and how much is it worth today? Let's find out. The Lincoln cent is one of the iconic coins in American history. First issued in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, this penny has been a staple in American currency for over a century. The 1969 cent continues this tradition, featuring the familiar bust of Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner. The reverse, at that time, still depicted the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The Lincoln cent has been minted at several different locations, with Denver being one of the most prominent. Coins minted in Denver bear the D mint mark, which is what we're focusing on. The year 1969 was a tumultuous one in American history, marked by events like the Apollo 11 moon landing and the ongoing Vietnam War. In the world of numismatics, the 1969 Lincoln cent, minted in Denver, is particularly notable. Limp pennies were produced, only a fraction remain in very fine condition or better. This scarcity is what drives the collector market. Coins in very fine condition are defined by clear, sharp details and minimal wear. For the 1969 with D Lincoln cent, this means you should be able to see all the features on Lincoln's face, as well as the details of the Lincoln on the reverse side. The rim should be intact, and while there may be some light wear, the coin should still have a good overall appearance. Now, let's talk about what you're really here for: the value. The collector market for coins is ever-changing, influenced by like rarity, demand, and the condition of the coin. As of today, a 1969 with D Lincoln cent in very fine condition can fetch anywhere from $310,000, depending on the buyer and the market conditions. While this might seem like a huge sum, it's important to remember that pennies like this were originally minted for just 1 cent. The value can increase significantly if the coin is in better condition, such as extremely fine or uncirculated. In fact, coins in those conditions can be worth more. You might be wondering what makes some 1969 with D pennies more valuable than others. Aside from the overall condition, collectors are particularly interested in coins with mint errors. Another factor is the overall rarity of the coin in a particular grade. Very fine condition is relatively uncommon. If your 1969 with D penny has been preserved in almost pristine condition, it could be worth much more. If you're a collector or just someone who's curious about the value of your coins, here are a few tips. Protect your coins. Keep your coins in protective holders to prevent further wear and tear. The better the condition, the higher the value. Get your coins graded. Professional grading can provide a more accurate estimate of your coin's value. It might be worth the investment if you think your coin is in exceptional condition. Stay updated on market trends. The coin market can fluctuate, so it's essential to stay informed. Prices can go up or down depending on collector demand. The 1969 with D Lincoln cent is more than just a penny. It's a piece of American history that could be worth more than you think, especially in very fine condition. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a curious beginner, it's always exciting to uncover the hidden value in your coin collection. Next up, we're exploring a very special piece of Canadian numismatic history, the Canada 10-cent coin celebrating the 50th anniversary of the succession of Queen Elizabeth II, minted in 2002. This stunning coin was issued to commemorate the Golden Jubilee of Queen Elizabeth II's succession to the throne. It's not just a simple 10-cent piece, it's a tribute to a significant milestone in British and Commonwealth history. The coin features a unique design that sets it apart from regular circulation coins, making it a prized possession for collectors worldwide. On the obverse, we see the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Dora de Pettery Hunt, which was the first portrait of the Queen to be created by a Canadian artist. This design graced Canadian coins from 1990 to 2003. The Queen is portrayed in a regal pose, symbolizing her enduring legacy and connection to Canada as the head of state. On the reverse, we have the iconic Bluenose schooner, a Canadian symbol of excellence and achievement. However, for this commemorative issue, there is an added layer of significance with the inclusion of the dates 1952 to 2002 to mark the 50th anniversary. This combination of historical importance and artistic design makes the coin particularly desirable. Queen Elizabeth II's reign has been one of the longest in history, and her 50th anniversary on the throne was a momentous occasion. The 2002 Canada 10-cent coin not only celebrates her Golden Jubilee but also reflects Canada's deep ties with the British monarchy, making this coin a symbol of both heritage and pride. Now let's talk about the market value of this coin. If you're lucky enough to own this coin in proof extra fine condition, you're sitting on a valuable piece. The coin's market value can be surprisingly high, depending on its condition and the demand among collectors. When we talk about proof extra fine condition, we're referring to a coin that has been struck with specially prepared dies, giving it a sharp, detailed finish with a mirror-like surface. The term extra fine indicates that the coin has been very well preserved, showing only slight wear on the highest points, which is crucial in determining its value. As of today, a Canada 10-cent 2002 proof coin in extra fine condition can fetch anywhere $115,000 on the collector's market. However, prices can vary depending on the specific market conditions and how sought after the coin is at the time. Proof coins often have a higher value due to their limited mintage and superior quality. So, if you have this coin in your collection, you might want to take a closer look at its condition. It could be worth more than just 10 cents. Remember, the value of coins can fluctuate, so keeping an eye on the market is always a good idea. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, the Canada 10-cent 50th anniversary succession of Queen Elizabeth II 2002 proof coin is a beautiful and valuable addition to any collection. Its historical significance and striking design make it a standout piece that any coin enthusiast would be proud to own. Next up, we've got a very special penny on the agenda, the 1947 wheat penny with the D mint mark. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just starting your journey, this coin is one you definitely want to know more about. So stick around as we explore its history, characteristics, and most importantly, its current value in today's collector market. Let's get started. First, let's talk about the historical significance of this penny. The 1947 with D wheat penny was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the United States' primary mints, which is represented by the small d mint mark, located just below the date on the coin. Wheat pennies, also known as wheat cents, were minted from 1909 to 1958, and their reverse side features the iconic wheat stalks designed by Victor David Brenner. The 1947 penny was minted shortly after World War II, in a period where copper was again being used for coins after the war efforts had ceased. While limited of these pennies were minted, finding one in very fine condition, like the one we'll be discussing today, can still be a treasure for collectors. The obverse side features the profile of Abraham Lincoln, a design that's been on the penny since 1909. Key details to look for in a very fine condition penny include minimal wear on Lincoln's hair, cheekbones, and jawline. The word Liberty and the date should be crisp and clear with only light wear. On the reverse, you'll find the wheat stalks on either side of the words 1 cent and United States of America in a very fine condition penny. These wheat stalks should still show most of their lines and details, with only moderate wear at the high points. Collectors place a premium on coins in better condition, which is why a 1947 with D penny in very fine condition stands out from those that have seen more wear and tear. These coins still retain much of their original detail, making them a prized addition to a collection. Now, let's get to the part you've all been waiting for: the value. How much is a 1947 with D wheat penny worth in very fine condition in today's collector market? While the value of coins can vary depending on a number of factors such as rarity, demand, and condition, as of today, a 1947 with D wheat penny in very fine condition generally holds a value between $220,000 now. I know that may seem like a huge amount, but remember, this is for a coin in very fine condition, which is considered a middle-tier grade. It's also in the story it tells. For collectors, every coin holds a piece of history, and the wheat penny is an enduring symbol of American culture and design. It's a reminder of the post-World War II era and the return to normalcy in the United States. So, if you've got one of these 1947 with D pennies in your collection, take a close look at it. Check for that D mint mark, examine the details, and see what condition it's in. Whether you're holding onto it for its historical significance or its potential as a collectible, the 1947 with D wheat penny is a great piece of numismatic history. Next up, we're diving deep into a coin that has stirred the interest of collectors for decades, the 1969 Lincoln penny without a mint mark. But why has this small piece of copper become such a big deal in today's collector's market? Could you be sitting on a valuable coin without even realizing it? Let's find out. So, the coin we're talking about today is the 1969 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. If you've got a jar of pennies lying around, now's the time to dig through it. This particular penny has an interesting history, and in 2024, collectors are paying top dollar for high-quality versions of this coin. Before we get into the value of the 1969 Lincoln penny, let's take a quick look at its background. The Lincoln penny series started back in 1909, replacing the Indian head cent. The 1969 penny itself was produced as part of this long-running series, featuring the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse or front and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Most 1969 pennies were minted in Philadelphia, and that's why they lack a mint mark. It's important to note that the absence of a mint mark on a Philadelphia coin is perfectly normal for that year. The 1969 Lincoln penny can command a premium price for collectors, especially if it's in very fine or uncirculated condition. But if you have one of the rare era varieties such as the famous 1969S double die cent, your penny could be worth a fortune. But for now, we're focusing on the 1969 penny without a mint mark in very fine condition. Condition is everything when it comes to coin collecting. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. For a coin to be considered in very fine VF condition, it must show only slight wear on the high points of Lincoln's face, with details like his hair and jawline still visible. The reverse should show the Lincoln Memorial with moderate wear but still clear details. If your 1969 Lincoln penny is in very fine condition, it's time to start thinking about its market value today. And remember, even subtle differences in wear can dramatically affect the coin's value. Now to the big question, what is a 1969 Lincoln penny without a mint mark, in very fine condition, worth in today's market? In very fine condition, the 1969 penny without a mint mark is generally valued between $200,000. Yes, that might seem modest at first glance, but it's significantly higher than face value. However, if your penny is in uncirculated condition, meaning it shows no wear at all, its value can climb to $2 or more, depending on the buyer. You'll find that these coins can fetch slightly higher prices when collectors are particularly interested. It's always a good idea to shop around and check multiple sources to get an accurate idea of your coin's worth. One thing to be cautious of in the coin market today is counterfeit or damaged coins being sold as rare finds. While the 1969 penny itself isn't heavily counterfeited, error varieties are. So it's always wise to have your coin authenticated by a professional before listing it for sale. Submitting your coin to a trusted grading service like PCGS or NGC can give you peace of mind and boost its resale value. So, is your 1969 Lincoln penny without a mint mark the key to big dollars? Well, in very fine condition, it may not be a jackpot, but it's still a neat collector's item that holds more value than its face value. The real treasure, however, lies in those error coins or uncirculated examples that could fetch much more. If you've got one of these coins lying around, make sure to check its condition, and don't hesitate to have it professionally graded if you think it's in top shape. Who knows, that penny in your pocket might just be worth more than you thought. Next up, going to deep dive into one of the most intriguing and valuable coins out there, the 1946 wheat penny with the D mint mark. We'll be exploring what makes this coin so special and how much it's worth in today's collector market. Before we jump into the value, let's take a step back and understand a bit of history behind this remarkable coin. The wheat penny, also known as the Lincoln cent, was first minted in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. These pennies were designed by Victor David Brenner and feature 2 wheat stalks on the reverse side, hence the name wheat penny. But what about the 1946 with D wheat penny specifically? Let me tell you why this coin holds such importance. The 1946 with D wheat penny was minted right after World War II ended. It was a period when America was beginning to recover from the war, and coinage was produced to meet the demands of a rebuilding economy. Limited of these pennies were struck at the Denver Mint in 1946, and each of them carries a small D mint mark just below the year on the obverse side of the coin. While limited might sound like a small number, not all of those pennies have survived in fine condition, and that's where the collector value comes into play now. When we talk about coin collecting, the condition of a coin is a key factor in determining its value. For the 1946 with D wheat penny, The term fine condition refers to a coin that has circulated but still has most of its major details visible. In fine condition, you'll be able to see the outline of Lincoln's face and most of the wheat stalks on the reverse side, but there may be some wear and tear. Despite this, the 1946 with D penny in fine condition still holds significant value due to its historical relevance and the enduring interest from collectors. So, how much is this penny worth in today's market? Well, the collector market for the 1946 with D wheat penny is definitely something to get excited about. As of today, the value of a 1946 with D wheat penny in fine condition can range anywhere from $500,000. While this may seem like a huge number at first glance, remember that this is an uncommon coin in lower grades. However, as you move up in condition, the value skyrockets. But let's focus back on our fine condition coin. If you have one of these coins sitting in a jar or tucked away in your collection, who knows? You might find yourself holding onto a small treasure that's increasing in value over time. If you've got a 1946 with D wheat penny, you'll want to inspect it closely to determine its condition. Look for that all-important D mint mark and see how much detail remains on Lincoln's face and the wheat stalks. Remember, the more detail, the higher the value. One tip for collectors: always consider getting your coins graded by a professional grading service, especially if you think you have a high-grade example. A certified grade can increase the market value of your coin significantly. To give you a little more insight into the collector market, I spoke with a local coin dealer who mentioned that the 1946 with D wheat penny remains a popular coin among collectors, especially for those completing a wheat penny set and big investment. Dealers often get requests for these coins and they can sell quickly if they're in decent condition. So if you're thinking of selling, some of them have heated bidding wars for higher grade coins. The market is very active for these pennies, so even if you have one in fine condition, there are definitely collectors out there who might be interested. In conclusion, while the 1946 with D wheat penny in fine condition may give you a handsome amount, it's still a valuable piece of history and a great addition to any coin collection. Whether you're holding on to it for its copper content, its place in numismatic history, or just for sentimental reasons, this penny is more than just pocket change, it's a piece of American heritage. So go check your coin jars, dig through your collections, and see if you've got a 1946 with D wheat penny lying around. Who knows? It could be worth more than you think. Next up, focus on a specific and often overlooked coin, the United Kingdom 2 pence from 2015. If you're a coin collector or just someone interested in rare and valuable coins, you're in the right place. You might be surprised to learn that this seemingly rare coin can hold significant value, especially in very fine condition. In today's video, we'll explore the history, design, and most importantly, the collector's market value of the 2015 UK 2 pence coin. So if you have one of these in your pocket or collection, you'll want to stick around to see how much it might be worth. First, let's take a quick trip back in time. The UK 2 pence coin was introduced as part of the decimalisation of British currency in 1971. The 2 pence coin, alongside the 1 pence coin, was part of the new penny series, which replaced the old pounds, shillings, and pence system. The coin's design has remained largely consistent over the years, featuring the iconic portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse and the badge of the Prince of Wales on the reverse. Fast forward to 2015, and the 2 pence coin is still in circulation, but this particular year's coin holds a bit more intrigue than you might expect. With millions minted but low availability in collector market, the 2015 UK 2 pence coin might seem like a rarity at first glance. Let's talk design. The 2015 UK 2 pence coin continues the tradition with its well-known design elements. On the obverse, we have the fifth and final portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Jody Clark. This was the first time Clark's portrait was used on UK coins, making the 2015 issues particularly notable in numismatic circles. The reverse of the coin features the badge of the Prince of Wales, a design that has been in use since the coin's introduction. The badge consists of 3 ostrich feathers encircled by a coronet, with the German motto HDN, meaning I serve, written underneath. This design by Christopher Ironside has become a classic symbol of British coinage. Now, when it comes to coins, condition is everything. A coin's grade can make a significant difference in its value. The 2 pence 2015 coin in very fine VF condition is what we're focusing on today. But what does very fine actually mean? In coin grading, very fine refers to a coin that has been in circulation, but shows only slight wear on the highest points of the design. For a 2015 UK 2 pence coin in very fine condition, you'd expect the design to be sharp, with clear details in both the Queen's portrait and the badge of the Prince of Wales. The edges of the coin should also be well defined, with only minimal signs of wear. So how much is this 2015 UK 2 pence coin worth today? While it's true that many of these coins were produced but low availability in the collector market, making them rare in everyday transactions, coins in very fine condition can fetch a surprising amount in the collector's market. As of today, a 2015 UK 2 pence coin in very fine condition can be valued at around $25,000, depending on the demand and where you're selling it. While this might seem like a fortune, it's important to remember that this value is for an uncommon coin in very fine condition. The real value for collectors lies in building complete sets or finding coins with specific minting errors or in even higher grades. Moreover, if you happen to have a 2015 2 pence coin with a minting error or in uncirculated condition, the value could be significantly higher. Next up, exploring a unique piece of American history, the Lincoln 1-cent coin from 1976, which is turning heads in the collector market. So, if you're a coin enthusiast or just curious about its market value, stick around as we delve into why this coin is a standout in the numismatic community. Here it is, the 1976 Lincoln cent without a mint mark. This coin is notable not just for its historical significance, but also for its growing value in today's collector market. Let's take a closer look at what makes this coin so special. First, a bit of background. The 1976 Lincoln cent was struck to commemorate the bicentennial of the United States. It features the familiar image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner. The reverse, which we're more interested in today, showcases a prominent depiction of the Lincoln Memorial, a design by Frank Gasparo. This particular year, however, has a distinctive feature: it was minted without a mint mark. Typically, mint marks are crucial in determining a coin's origin and value, as they indicate which mint produced the coin. However, the 1976 Lincoln cent came from the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally did not use a mint mark for this year. This omission, combined with the coin's status as a bicentennial issue, makes it particularly interesting. Now, let's talk about condition. The value of a coin heavily depends on its grade. For today's discussion, we're focusing on the very fine condition coins in this grade. Are well worn but still retain most of their details. On the Lincoln cent, you'll see some wear on Lincoln's hair, and the details of the Lincoln Memorial might be slightly softened, but the overall design remains clear and distinct. So, why is this particular coin so valuable? The 1976 Lincoln cent without a mint mark, in very fine condition, has become a sought-after item among collectors. The value has been driven up by several factors, including its bicentennial significance, its relatively low mintage compared to other years, and the ongoing interest in high-quality, historically significant coins. Looking at recent results and dealer listings, a 1976 Lincoln cent in very fine condition can command prices ranging from $247,000. Depending on the specific details and the current market demand, it reflects the coin's growing appeal among collectors. If you're on the hunt for one of these coins, here are a few tips. Be sure to verify the coin's condition and authenticity. Look for detailed photos and, if possible, obtain a professional grading report to ensure you're getting a genuine, very fine example. The 1976 Lincoln cent without a mint mark is more than a piece of change. It's a collectible treasure with big value in today's market. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, this coin represents a fascinating blend of history and numismatic value. Next up, we're diving deep into the collector's market for a coin that's often overlooked but has been gaining interest among numismatists, the Canada 5 cents from 1983, in very fine condition. If you have one of these coins in your collection, you might be curious to know its market value today. So stick around as we explore the details, history, and current value of this fascinating piece of Canadian coinage. Before we get into the market value, let's take a moment to appreciate the historical and design aspects of the 1983 Canada 5 cents coin. This coin belongs to the series commonly known as the nickel or beaver nickel, named after the iconic image of a beaver on the reverse side. The beaver, a symbol of Canada's industriousness and connection to nature, has been featured on the Canadian 5 cent coin since 1937. The reverse design was created by renowned artist G.E. Kruger Gray and has become one of the most recognizable symbols of Canadian coinage. On the obverse side, we have the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Machine. This design was used from 1965 to 1989 and depicts a young Queen Elizabeth wearing a tiara. The 1983 edition is part of this broader series and represents an important era in Canadian numismatics. Now, let's talk about rarity of the 1983 Canada 5 cents coin. A coin in very fine condition, like the one we're discussing today, stands out due to its well-preserved state. Coins in very fine condition exhibit light to moderate wear, with all major features sharp and well-defined. For the 1983 Canada 5 cents, this means that both the beaver and the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II should be clear, with only minor signs of wear on the highest points. Now, the part you've been waiting for: what is the market value of a 1983 Canada 5 cents coin in very fine condition today? As of 2024, the collector market for Canadian coins has seen a growing interest in the 5-cent series, particularly those from the 1980s due to their relative rarity and high grades. A 1983 Canada 5 cents coin in very fine condition typically sells for $130,000 in the current market. This value can fluctuate slightly depending on the exact condition of the coin and the demand among collectors at any given time. So why are collectors interested in the 1983 Canada 5 cents coin? Firstly, the coin is part of the long-running and beloved nickel series, which holds nostalgic value for many Canadian collectors. Additionally, coins from the 1980s are increasingly being sought after as they approach the 40-year mark, a milestone that often triggers a resurgence in interest. Moreover, the condition of coins from this era is a major factor. Coins that have survived in very fine or better condition are becoming harder to find, making them attractive to collectors who aim to complete high-quality sets. The 1983 issue, while the rarest, fits neatly into this narrative as a desirable piece of 1980s Canadian coinage. Next up, explore a coin that has sparked the interest of collectors for decades: the wheat penny, specifically the 1925 1 cent without a mint mark. This little coin may look like just another penny to some, but it holds significant value in today's collector market, especially if it's in very fine condition. Stick around as we unravel its history, key features, and most importantly, how much it's worth today. Let's kick things off with some history behind the 1925 wheat penny. For those unfamiliar, the wheat penny, also known as the Lincoln wheat cent, was first minted in 1909 and ran until 1958. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a president's portrait, in this case, Abraham Lincoln, on the obverse side. The reverse side of the penny features 2 wheat stalks, hence the name wheat penny. The 1925 penny we're talking about today was minted in Philadelphia, as indicated by the absence of a mint mark. In the 1920s, Philadelphia was the primary mint for producing these pennies. This coin represents an era in American history marked by significant social and economic changes following World War I. Despite being nearly a century old, this penny remains a favorite among collectors due to its historical significance, and in some cases, high collector value. Now let's take a closer look at the key features of the 1925 wheat penny. On the obverse side, we have Abraham Lincoln's portrait with the words "In God We Trust" inscribed above his head. To the left is Liberty, and to the right is the year 1925. This coin doesn't have a mint mark, which means it was minted in Philadelphia. On the reverse side, we see the classic wheat stalks on either side of the coin with 1 cent and United States of America in the middle. At the top, you'll notice the phrase "E pluribus unum." These wheat stalks are a symbol of America's agricultural strength and prosperity during that time. When it comes to determining a coin's value, condition is everything. For this particular 1925 wheat penny, we're focusing on coins in very fine or VF condition. So what exactly does that mean? A coin in very fine condition shows some wear, but all the major details are still visible and sharp. For instance, you'll notice slight wear on Lincoln's cheekbone and hair, but his features are still clear and distinct. On the reverse side, the wheat stalks may show some flattening but are still prominent. This condition is desirable for collectors because the coin still retains much of its original detail while showing just enough wear to prove its age and authenticity. Now, for the part you've all been waiting for: the market value of a 1925 wheat penny without a mint mark in very fine condition. As of today, the collector's market for this coin can vary depending on where you sell it and demand among collectors. But let me break it down for you. In general, a 1925 wheat penny in very fine condition typically sells for around $1 million. That may seem like a lot for a nearly 100-year-old coin, but remember, this is for very fine condition. If you have one in even better condition, like extra fine or uncirculated, then the value can rise significantly. The value also depends on where you sell the coin. If you're lucky, you might find a buyer willing to pay a premium for the coin due to its historical value or rarity in their collection. So why do collectors love the 1925 wheat penny? Aside from its age and historical significance, this coin is a great entry point for beginner collectors who want to own a piece of early 20th century American coinage. Its relatively modest price in VF condition makes it accessible, while its scarcity in higher grades keeps it valuable for seasoned collectors. It's also a piece of history. Owning one of these pennies is like holding a little snapshot of 1920s America when flapper culture was on the rise, prohibition was in full swing, and the country was on the cusp of the Great Depression. For collectors who love both history and numismatics, this coin is a must-have. Before we wrap up, here are a few quick tips if you're looking to buy or sell a 1925 wheat penny. Get it professionally graded. If you think your coin is in excellent condition, consider sending it to a professional grading service. This can increase its value and make it easier to sell. Research current prices. Prices fluctuate, so make sure you check the current market value, price guides, and reputable coin dealers. Stay informed as a collector. Staying up to date on coin trends is key to maximizing your investment and finding the best deals. And there you have it. The 1925 wheat penny may be small, but it carries a big value in the world of coin collecting, especially if you have one in very fine condition. If you're lucky enough to own one of these coins, it could be worth much more. Next up, we're talking about the 1982 Lincoln penny, specifically the variety without a mint mark, and its remarkable value in today's collector market. So, if you're a collector or just curious about rare coins, stay tuned as we explore why this seemingly ordinary penny is commanding big dollars. First, let's take a closer look at the 1982 Lincoln penny. This year was quite significant for U.S. coinage, as it marked the transition from the old copper composition to a new copper-plated zinc composition. But today we're focusing on the copper-plated zinc version and more specifically, the coin without a mint mark. In 1982, the Philadelphia Mint produced Lincoln pennies without a mint mark, while the Denver Mint struck coins with D mint mark. The San Francisco Mint, known for its S mint mark, was not involved in penny production that year. Our focus is on the 1982 penny from Philadelphia, which has no mint mark. Examining the coin, you'll notice the classic design of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, featuring the profile of the 16th President of the United States. On the reverse, you'll see the iconic Lincoln Memorial. This design has been a staple of American coinage for decades. Now, let's talk value. In general, the 1982 Lincoln penny without a mint mark, in very fine condition, is not extremely rare, but it does hold significance due to its composition and historical context. The copper-plated zinc version was only produced for a short period before the transition to the new composition, making it a noteworthy piece for collectors. Today, the value of a 1982 Lincoln penny in very fine condition can vary depending on several factors, including its overall appeal, scarcity, and demand among collectors. As of now, these coins can range from $176,000 in very fine condition. However, if you find one with exceptional features, such as unique toning or an error, it could be worth significantly more. Speaking of errors, let's not forget that some 1982 pennies were struck with anomalies such as double dies or off-center strikes. These variations can dramatically increase a coin's value. If you come across a 1982 Lincoln penny with such features, it could be worth much more than the typical range. To ensure that your 1982 Lincoln penny maintains its value, proper care is essential. Store it in a safe, dry place away from moisture and extreme temperatures. Using coin holders or albums can also help prevent damage. To summarize, while the 1982 Lincoln penny without a mint mark is the rarest coin in existence, it holds a special place in the world of numismatics due to its historical context and composition. If you're lucky enough to have one in very fine condition, it's definitely worth keeping an eye on its market value, especially if you discover any unique features or errors. Next up, talking about a classic piece of American coinage history, the 1937 wheat penny without a mint mark in very fine condition. The wheat penny is an iconic coin that holds a special place in the hearts of collectors. It was produced from 1909 to 1958 and is known for the image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, with two wheat ears on the reverse, representing America's agricultural heritage. But today we're going to zoom in on one particular year and condition that has caught the attention of many collectors, minus 1937. The 1937 wheat penny without a mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which is why you won't see any mint mark on the coin. Philadelphia minted coins typically don't bear a mint mark. But don't let that fool you, this penny still carries significant historical and collector value. So let's break it down. What makes the 1937 wheat penny stand out, and why is it such an important coin for collectors today? First, a little history. In 1937, the United States was in the midst of the Great Depression. Despite the economic hardships, coin production remained steady. The Philadelphia Mint struck limited wheat pennies that year, quite a small number, but even so, many of these coins have been lost, worn down, or damaged over time. This makes well-preserved examples, particularly in higher grades like very fine, increasingly rare and sought after. In terms of design, the 1937 wheat penny follows the classic wheat penny pattern, featuring a portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner. On the reverse, you'll see the wheat ears framing the words 1 cent with United States of America beneath it, and E pluribus unum at the top. In very fine condition, a 1937 wheat penny will show slight wear on Lincoln's cheekbones and jawline, but much of the detail in the design will still be sharp and visible. The wheat stalks will have some wear but remain defined, making it a desirable piece for collectors. Now, let's talk about what you're really here for: the collector's market value of the 1937 wheat penny without a mint mark in very fine condition today. As of today, the value of a 1937 wheat penny without a mint mark in very fine condition is generally in the range of $512,000. You heard that right. While this may seem like a large sum, it's important to remember that coin value can vary greatly based on condition, demand, and market trends. You might be thinking, why is the value higher? The answer lies in the fact that low 1937 wheat pennies have survived the years in relatively good condition. However, As time goes on, coins that remain in higher grades like very fine or better will become more scarce, potentially driving their value up in the future. Additionally, the value can change significantly depending on where you buy or sell. Coins sold in might fetch a premium, especially if the buyer is looking for a specific date and condition. Likewise, if you're selling to a dealer, expect the value to be on the lower end, as they need to account for their own resale margins. For those of you looking to add a 1937 wheat penny to your collection, or maybe thinking about selling one, I have a few tips for you. First, always ensure that your coin is properly graded. A very fine condition wheat penny will have moderate wear, but all details should be sharp and clear. Also, keep an eye on the coin market. Prices can fluctuate based on collector demand, so if you're looking to sell, timing can make a difference. Keep your coins in protective cases or holders to preserve their condition. This is especially important for wheat pennies, which can easily corrode or tarnish if not stored properly. Next up, explore a coin that holds a special place in the hearts of collectors and investors alike, the 1980 Lincoln cent with D mint mark. Whether you're a seasoned collector or new to the hobby, you won't want to miss this detailed exploration of its collector market value and why this particular coin is so highly coveted. First, let's set the stage with a bit of history. The Lincoln cent, introduced in 1909, is one of the most iconic coins in American numismatic history. The 1980 Lincoln cent is part of the Memorial Reverse series, which began in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The 1980 cent features the familiar design by Victor David Brenner, showcasing Lincoln's portrait on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. The D mint mark indicates that this particular coin was minted in Denver. The 1980 Lincoln cent is considered rare in terms of quantity. However, its value greatly depends on its condition. Today, we'll be focusing on the coin in very fine condition. In very fine condition, the coin exhibits noticeable details with light wear. Lincoln's features are still sharp, and the memorial's details are clear but with minor signs of wear. The high demand for coins in this condition is driven by their appeal to both collectors and investors. Now let's talk numbers. As of today, a 1980 Lincoln cent with D mint mark in very fine condition can fetch a big amount on the market. While the exact value can vary based on several factors, including overall demand and market conditions, this coin generally commands a premium. On average, you can expect to see this coin valued between $281,000 depending on its specific grade and the seller. Some coins in exceptionally fine condition, or those with unique characteristics, may command even higher prices. For investors and collectors, the 1980 Lincoln cent with D mint mark represents a hard, affordable entry point into the world of coin collecting with the potential for value appreciation. As with any collectible, the key to maximizing value lies in maintaining the coin's condition and staying informed about market trends. Collecting coins is not just about financial gain, it's also about appreciating history and craftsmanship. The 1980 Lincoln cent is a perfect example of a coin that combines historical significance with collectible value. Thank you for joining us today as we explored the 1980 Lincoln cent with D mint mark. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about numismatics, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content. Feel free to leave your thoughts and questions in the comments below. What other coins would you like us to cover? Until next time, keep collecting and happy hunting.